Football Thursday. Football Thursday, man. This is it, the last dress rehearsal, right? This is the last dress rehearsal before the off week after Labor Day, and then we're teeing it up on Thursday night. And what is it, like 2 weeks from tonight? The banner falls. The season starts. We kick off the NFL 2 weeks from tonight. How you doing? That's what I'm talking about, baby. Let's get this thing going, man. Final exhibition game of the year for the Eagles is on Friday versus the Jets. Tonight we got football. What is it? Pittsburgh at Carolina. New England at the New York Giants. Great. We got football all week. We get cut down day in a couple days here. We'll figure out who the 53. We're going to look at the 53. Hey, by the way, Super Chats go to the top. And we will tell you flat out, do us a favor. Please hit that like button and subscribe also. I haven't told you that. Half the people that watch the show, Xander told me this like a year ago, do not subscribe. All you got to do is just hit subscribe. Doesn't cost you a penny. Just cost you a little second of your time. Hit that bad puppy, man. We appreciate you. Thank you very much. I do have to start the program out with this. Disappointing, but not a shocker. After 4 years, Merrill Reese will no longer be allowed to come on the program because the higher-ups at WIP through Bob Lang have told him, and I'll read it to you. I actually posted it on my and by the way, I asked Merrill if it would be okay for me to sit there and and read this, and he said yes, or I would never have done it without his permission. But here's what he said. He goes, Dan, I've been told by Sports Radio WIP Philadelphia that they have an exclusive clause in the contract that prohibits me from doing podcasts that aren't the property of Odyssey. It's funny that Odyssey airs my shows on their websites. How's that get over then? So wait a minute. It's okay for Odyssey to take my show and air my show on their platforms without compensating me or JAKIB, but they're telling a guy who comes on my program he can't come on. Yeah, that sounds pretty rich. I've always enjoyed going on with you, but they've been great to me, and I have to abide by their policy. I told Merrill Reese this. I said, no problem, Merrill. Listen, we love you very much, man. Everybody in here loves you. That shows you the power of our show. We had a viral moment when he showed you Jalen Hurts' signed cleats. He showed you the championship ring, and WIP had a cow with it, and so did the Eagles. Okay? And we had a viral moment. Got national publicity. It went in many publications, and they had a cow with it. My cat could start a YouTube channel. Do you know that? But because it's me, okay, me, Bob can't stop this fucking show. Bob, you can't. Bob, stop. You can't stop it. Whatever you think, you cannot stop it. You can't stop me. You can't. Hey, still, screw WIP and Odyssey and Bob Lang. They can't stop JAKIB Sports and the machine. Okay? They can't. So they're not going to. And so we have to show tremendous respect for Merrill Reese. And by the way, when you have a company now that is no longer what WIP used to be, because now it's a George Soros company. This is George Soros. This is the type of mentality that you have. He's been on here for 4 years. All of a sudden now, what happened? 4 years Merrill Reese has been coming on this program. 4 years. Nobody had a problem. Came on every time I asked him. I knew something was up yesterday when we sent the when we sent the text message to him and he didn't respond. I knew something was up. And he's been apologizing And he really doesn't have to. We love Merrill Reese. We have great respect for Merrill Reese. I have no ill will towards him. I really don't have ill will towards Odyssey whatsoever. Okay? I really don't. I don't have any problem. But the Eagles, they fear what I say. Why would you go to NBC Philadelphia, NBC Sports Philly, tell their host that they can't come on? Barrett Brooks is also in that category. Barrett Brooks told me he's not allowed to come on the program because of my takes on the Eagles. So all the hosts that are currently on WIP are not allowed to come here. They could go on any other show. Not mine, though. So, funny, who am I? I'm a nobody, I think. I don't know, maybe. You care that much? Hey, no ill will, dude. I just do a show. The Eagles are woke. They're afraid. They're afraid of what we say. And by the way, I don't think we say anything. We don't get personal. I don't get personal with Nick. I don't say anything personal about Howie. I may have fun a little bit, but we don't go there any longer. I've not done that in years. Merrill Reese is the best. And he told me, he goes, hey, man, text me anytime. We'll talk privately, but I can't come on your program. Okay? I really don't need Merrill Reese. When you see the people that we get on the program and people that come on, it doesn't really matter to me. I just found it odd that after 4 years that WIP, because you guys made, it was really you. You guys are the ones that made that a viral moment. Good for you. And Merrill thought he'd share something with all of you and all of us here at JAKIB. It was really cool. It was a great gift from Jalen. But Bob had a problem with Jalen sharing something with Merrill and then here with you. Think of that. He ain't shitting on me. Bob Lang and the Eagles are shitting on you. They're shitting on you. Okay? Not me. I told you I don't root for anybody. They're shitting on you. I mean, that's the way it rolls. Howard Eskin can't believe it. Howard can't believe it. He's stunned, but then he's not, he said. He said this is totally Bob Lang. And the Eagles doing it. Imagine that. The voice, the legendary voice of over 50 years, wanted to share a cool moment with you, and he had a problem with it because it was here. And not because of all the Eagle fans that are in here. It's personal. Hey, Bob, I don't give a shit who you are. Honest to God, dude, I don't care who you are. I mean, bro, I don't know you from a can of paint. I just know of you from San Francisco. And by the way, the Bartolos hated your guts. That's a fact. Ask Eddie D. They hated you. Okay, so what do you want me to really start telling 49er stories about how they couldn't stand your bullshit? Oh, no. It's okay. Well, look, again, I'm not going to do 4 hours of that stuff. But this guy thinks he's making the Bucks thought this shit, and I was doing 10 shares. Okay? That's right. JAKIB will prevail. We move on. But I thought I'd share that story with you guys. I think that's, like Angelo would say, it's a feather in our cap. That people care that much what I say and really what you guys say. You should take that as a merit badge. Do you understand what that shows? That they control the audience or tried to control the audience at WIP and 97.5. But they can't hear. Because you know why? The Krauses refuse to bend. It's the only company I've worked for that they won't bend. Dude, normal company, I'd have been gone 3 years ago. 3 years ago, I'd have been gone. Okay? Honestly. So we appreciate you guys very much coming in here. Thank you. By the way, as the season starts to come aboard, you're going to see more people that are going to start chiming in here. But we're going to go forward here and we're going to talk some football with you. Can't wait. Like I said, this weekend is going to be Cutdown Day. And Cutdown Day is going to be really interesting. Some bad news just came out. And again, this may help on the selection of the wide receiving core, but here, Johnny Wilson is gone for the remainder of the season. That to me is troubling because, again, if you're going to be a running football team and you're going to be a football team that's going to be dominant running the ball, you want to have big physical wide receivers. Hey, let me ask you this question here. And I'll ask you this, guys. So how many do you guys believe right now the Eagles are going to be a predominantly running attack football team this year? Yes or no? Do you believe that they're going to be a running football team this year? Yes or no? Do you believe that? Before we even get into the topics, do you believe that you're going to be a dominant running team? Yes. Yes. Okay? Yes. Okay? All right. Well, how many people believe that when you have a running attack and a mentality of a running attack, that's going to take its toll on wide receivers' health? Yes or no? If you're going to run the ball over 400 times with one player, do you believe that that's going to take a toll on your wide receiving core? Yes or no? Get this. So Steven says no, and yet both wide receivers a year ago missed time, and they've missed time this training camp. Make that make sense? No. They missed time a year ago. They're in and out of the lineup now and in and out of training camp now. But no, really. So let me ask you this. So if you run the ball 400 times and you've got a wide receiver at 190 pounds and another one at 200 pounds, and they go through 17 games with a team that runs the ball 40 times, you think your fucking wideouts aren't getting worn out running the ball? Offensive linemen get worn out. Not them, bro, right? Because why? They're in Kelly Green? What a fucking moron. Dude, I told you this before. How many people do this when you're hitting a nail? You do that 300-400 times. Then you do it 1,000 times. What happens? The head of the nail breaks. So you don't think when you're out there on a football field, then again, why would I argue with people who have never been through it? How would you know? You wouldn't know. You would have no idea. Okay? You have no idea on how people and constant contact sit there and go, okay, get this. Duh. Great analysis. Football players get injured playing football. No shit. Different styles of football cause for different styles of injury. Hey, senor, your brain cells at times, honest to God, I marvel how you could stand up to take a piss. It's shocking. Honestly, man. Run blocking requires a lot more force on the body. It's more likely you get hurt in run blocking than pass blocking. How about this? My point is, that could be a loss because you're looking for physically dominating guys. Okay? You're looking for physically dominating guys who can play in the run game. That to me, again, okay? Get this. So what, do you think they're lying about Johnny Wilson's injury to make room for Darius Cooper so they keep Johnny Wilson out the entire season? I'm not getting that. Sills, how does Howie do it? Last week he trades for a wide receiver. This week Wilson goes down, and we are hearing teams are looking for wide receiver help. I'm thinking, dude, John Mechie is a bubble guy. I thought, again, they made the trade because AJ's hurt, not because Johnny Wilson went down. That's circumstances. What are you talking about? AJ Brown's missed the entire camp. And you're trying to tie that into Johnny Wilson and not AJ? That's right. John Mechie was going to get cut in Houston. What's it like you went out and got yourself a number 3? Dude, Jahan Dotson's had a good camp. Don't make John Mechie sound like he's some sort of frontline dude. He's not. He's a finesse wideout too. Okay? Right? AJ's going to play week 1. Relax, man. All right. Why was he been... Okay, so one of the shittiest passing attacks in pro football a year ago, and you worked nothing on your pass game whatsoever, and you worked 0 on your pass game, and the guy's been out the entire camp on the 30th worst shit passing attack, and you got a brand new coordinator. I'm very sure of it, dude. Kyle, thank you very much for coming aboard. Appreciate it, brother. Seals, can we get a list of guys that could be cut? We're going to do that here in a second. Absolutely. Guys, do me a favor. Please hit the like button. We appreciate all of you coming in here. Thank you again. All right. Let me throw this at you here. Let's go topic number 1. By the way, Jason Cole at 4:30 will join us as we get ready for tonight's first round of the final exhibition games of the NFL season. All right. What will be the biggest challenge in 2025 for the Philadelphia Eagles, in your opinion? What do you think will be their biggest challenge? What will be that biggest challenge? Staying healthy. Okay. Staying healthy. Not awful. War of attrition. Absolutely true. Arthur with a home run right out of the gate, which it usually takes him 2 hours, but schedule. Okay. Eduardo, depth. Getting to the quarterback. Okay. All right. Who else? Let's see here. Complacency. Okay. Cupcake schedule. Senor. Okay. Here's going to be where I'm going with this. You know, getting all the new faces together, figuring it out. You guys have said this the entire offseason. I believe in Vic. I go with Vic. I trust Vic. Xander says that all the time. I think Vic's going to figure it out. The acceleration of trying to figure out the pieces of the puzzle, I think are going to be the issue. Okay? Do I put Cooper in the safety position? Do I keep him in the slot? Do I play him out at corner? Is Sidney the guy or is Makuba the guy? Do I rotate guys? The new faces. Look, I've said this before to you. I don't think these guys are horrible. I just don't think they're great, and I don't think they've got a lot of experience. I don't know how this is going to look yet because you know why? Vic doesn't know. You've got rotating battle positions still going on into the Jets game tomorrow night. You don't have anything solidified. Here's the jobs that are solidified. Nolan. Okay, by the way, I don't believe in Nolan Smith, and I'll tell you why here in a minute. Carter, Davis, Bond, Q, and Cooper. The rest of them, I have question marks on every one of them. Jalix Hunt, the corners, the safeties, rotation pieces, all of it. Huss, if you've got rotation pieces going on, going into a final preseason game, and you don't know who your starter's going to be on defense yet, think about your backups. My God almighty, if you got hurt at corner, who goes in? Keeley? You're destroyed. You're destroyed. If Makuba goes down, you put in Sidney, you're not that good there. I heard Jeff Kerr. Jeff Kerr's crazy if he thinks Sidney Brown's a good player when it comes to putting guys on the ground. He's not. He has not. Has Sidney Brown in his time as a Philadelphia Eagle shown you that he is a good open field tackler? The answer is no. The answer is no. He has not shown that. Tackling, in my opinion, will be an enormous problem on this defense this year. Mark my words. I don't see a ton of open field tacklers here. Let me tell you who I think the best linebacking open field tackler is that you're talking about right now. I think it's Campbell and Munden next to Bond. Okay? I think the kid Munden can play. He just needs more reps. He needs more opportunity to really hone his skills. He's a good player. Let me put this out there to you. If I had, by the end of the year, you'll think that Smile Munden was a second-round draft choice. That's how good I think that kid is. He looks like a second-rounder. That guy doesn't look like a whatever he was, a fourth or fifth rounder. No fucking way. That guy looks good. That guy can play. That's my problem right here, Kevin. I don't trust Brown getting people on the ground. I trust Makuba more. And guess what? I don't trust me. Here's my problem with the guys you're battling for a safety spot. I trust Makuba more to get people on the ground and make plays for me. I don't trust him to be in the lineup on a week-to-week basis. And Sidney, I don't trust him to not get beat on plays because you know why? A wide receiver is going to shake him off or give a move and he's going to go deep on him. That guy is not a very good tackler. He is not, in his years being here, shown you he is a tackling guy. Reed Blankenship's a better tackler than Sidney Brown. He's a better player. And Sidney's got more skill. I'll make this point to you about Keely Ringo. I think Keely Ringo's got more athletic talent than anybody at corner. That's the frustrating thing that the Eagles are going through when it comes to that corner spot, is that they see the talent. They go, that kid can play. He's a good player. He's just not putting it together. He doesn't see the game right now. To me, that's either reps or he's out of position. You got to figure one of those out. You just have to figure that out. And get this. So let me show you what Vic has done. How many people believe that Vic will figure this out? Yes or no? How many people believe Vic will figure it out? I don't. I don't think he's going to figure it out. I do not. And I'll tell you why. He's adding more people to the battles. At safety, you have Makuba, Brown, Tristan McCullum battling it out. So you got three dudes in there. And here's the thing with McCullum. I told Xander this the other day. McCullum's the lesser of the two players. But you know what he is? He's reliable for Vic. He's not going to be hurt. He's going to be in there. He's a better tackler than Brown. Does he have the same skill? No. And Xander goes like this. Well, if that guy plays, we're in trouble. Any one of those other fucking guys play, you're in trouble. Why not go with the sure guy? That's the thing, Sills. You got to let these guys fail. Bro, let these guys fail. Brian, you do that in New York with the Jets. Not a team you're telling me is a Super Bowl team that you're going to line up and try to defend yourself with a defending Super Bowl championship that you've got to let all these guys figure it out. So you got to let a safety, a corner, linebacker, and rotating edges figure it out. I thought you were in a Super Bowl window, not in a training wheel training camp. Xander was right. I don't want to figure this out September 2nd. I want to figure this out. It's supposed to be a month ago. Oh, wait a minute. Okay. I see what you're doing. You're right. Sills, this is not a Super Bowl team. This team is retooling. You're coming from that angle, you're dead nails on. Absolutely true. Absolutely true. Brian, if that's your mentality, you're right. You are dead right. Okay? Absolutely. I don't think so either. That is not, I hear guys saying fifth. How can you be a fifth-ranked defense with 5 open positions on August 21st? How the fuck did you get there? I mean, how did you get there? And these guys were all second and third team guys a year ago. Every one of them. Most of them were third teams. Sidney Brown was third team. Keely Ringo was third team. Makuba was in college. How did you get there? Boy, last year's team has snow jobbed you. You know, Eagle fans say this about last year's defense. It was historic. You think you're going to have historic again? You're fucking high. That's probably the most accomplished. No, strike that. That's the most accomplished defense in the history of the Philadelphia Eagle franchise, at least in the Super Bowl era. You're not doing that again. 0. Now I know why Bob's pissed. You got to be kidding me. You're sitting here still on the, and you're arguing with guys that are not all that hot. Azeez Ojulari and what's the other guy? Joshua Uche. Those guys who were whacked off of other teams are going to be on your team taking the place of Josh Sweat. Where in the world did you get that that's going to help your football team be a successful team this year? 2 to 3 guys with Jalix Hunt are replacing one man, and you've got that at multiple positions. This is not hard to figure out. Do the math. Do the math. Kim, this is quite a compliment. You're the best sports talk in Philly, New York, WIP. Thank you, Kim. Means a lot. Thank you very much. By the way, I think you're an absolutely fabulous sports chick. Like my wife, man. My wife goes like this to me when I ask her sports questions, Kim. She goes like this. She goes, "What do you think? I'm stupid?" And I go, "Nope, I know better." Absolutely, man. Fantastic. Thank you, Kimberly. Appreciate that, man. Eric, not a Super Bowl team is a rough take. They're most likely not as good as last year, but they're still good enough to get. Okay, Eric. I mean, I don't think this is a terrible take. It just won't be that easy. They're very good everywhere last year. They were very good everywhere last year. How about this? Eric, I'll concede this take of yours. Last year, they were head and heels above everybody else, right? By the end of the year, it was iconic. So you're saying they're in the hat of the Super Bowl teams. Fair enough. Like you could put your hand in a hat and go Detroit Lions and the Buccaneers in the NFC title game. You could do it again and go Eagles and Rams in the NFC title game. Good with that too, right? All right. I think you're in the Super Bowl hat. I think there's 5 teams. So you're right. You're probably right. You're probably right. And the war of attrition. Well, let me ask you this, Eric. How do you feel about your depth in your roster right now going into the season? Last year, you had multiple players who played multiple positions that gave you tremendous depth and helped you win a Super Bowl. Your depth helped you win that Super Bowl. It just gave you it just gave you absolutely phenomenal depth. Rodgers was great. Fred Johnson was great. Orrin was great. All of that was fantastic. Okay? All of that. Okay? I mean, you tell me. How do you feel, Eric? Let's see here. There you go, Eric. Eric, repost that for me. I agree. Kim pisses me off sometimes, but gives honest opinion. He doesn't sugarcoat anything. I appreciate that. Chris, thank you very much. Hey, Chris, you know what? I'm a football fan. I'm not a fan of the Eagles. I'm not a fan of anybody. I love covering you, though. I absolutely love covering. I think and it's fun because you're good and because you're a great organization. Okay? I do. I listen, I don't believe that. I don't. Not as good as last year, but last year was a special year for any team. Okay, so you're going to duplicate that now with 5 holes on defense? How could that possibly be? How did you get there? I'm not saying you, Eric. How'd you get there? Jack, that's where I'm at. I'm in there, Jack. Jack, there's too many good players on offense for not that to be in that room. Let me tell you this. Hey, Jack, if you win less than 10 games or 11 games, you had a colossal disaster year. If you get bounced in the opening round of the playoffs, you had a failure season. Okay? 2 years ago has nothing to do with right now. Thank you for the super, Leon. I appreciate it. Nothing. 0. Okay? Nothing. And by the way, if I was right on every one of my predictions, I wouldn't be fucking here. I'd be on an island somewhere and burning the bridges and the boats where no one would find me. Okay? Let's get this right here. One of the reasons why we've been in the business for 40 years on every platform and successful, you know why? It's because we have an opinion. And because we do have conviction, unlike others. You may not like it, but I don't care. Never have. It's sports talk, folks. This is not brain or heart surgery. It's sports talk. Relax. Sit back. Try to be a little bit better than Bob Lang. Try to raise yourself up. And not the petty-ass Eagles. They're fucking in my bullseye right now. They're nothing but petty. So they don't need to be top 5 defense. Around 15 and 15 in passing. Absolutely, man. Absolutely. I'm all good with that. Okay? I'm all good. Sills, can we talk about how Troy Vincent and his goons have ruined the sport? What happened to Buddy? We used to be a dog. Dude, I know. He's a company guy now, Troy Vincent. The front office doesn't want to do things any longer in the benefit of the players. It's all in the benefit. And he is a goon now that works for the front office. It's a damn shame. Someone should check his DNA because it's not NFL player DNA. That's for damn sure. Okay? I'm not duplicating last year. That won't be duplicated for a long time. That's right. You're damn right, Eric, and it won't be. Okay? You're dead on right. Okay? Why? He was on for 4 years. Get your shit right, Ethan. We had a content moment with him when he showed the Jalen Hurts gift that Jalen gave him. What the fuck are you talking about, douchebag? He was on for 4 years. Every week he was on. What are you talking about? Well, because everyone knows this show. And because those shows that you have at IP are shitty. Every one of those shows is shitty. 97.5 is easy listening jazz now. They don't even have a sports station. The guy in the morning is terrible now. Kincaid used to be good. I knew him. I liked him at one time. Now I don't know what happened. Somebody took his nuts away. I mean, there's not one redeeming show on that thing. And by the way, they're so bad, they have one of our interns hosting a show. When you don't get paid and you do a show for someone, you're an intern. Bill Colorulo was an intern for us. And now he hosts a show in Philly on a station no one listens to. Okay? Well, that's an intern to me. That's an intern. I love my Eagles. I've been for 50 years. Look, you're in the golden era right now, Chris. You totally have right now the best football that the Eagles have ever had, even during the Andy Reid time. Okay? Even with the Doug Peterson. This is the golden age. Okay? Plus, they slam you with ads half the show. Love how JAKIB doesn't do that shit. Hey, man, let me say, we do our best trying to do that. Okay? Honestly. So do me a favor, guys. At the end of the day here, let's look at this going into this year so far. Right? Here's what I see. You're right. I'm not telling you the Philadelphia Eagles are not going to be, or how about this? Let's do here. I'm going here with this. The Eagles are still the team that are on the poll. They're on the poll. Nobody's taken them off that yet. You know why? Philly's proven it. I had somebody ask me the other day, Seals, do you think the Rams are a football team that can contend and compete with Philly? I said, yeah, but I think the team is more so as the Bucs. The Bucs got a bit of good news today. Chris Godwin and Tristan Wirfs were taken off the PUP list. That means they're trying to get them ready for the Philly game. Now, I don't know what that means. I'm still trying to get more updates on that, but they're circling that Philly game. They're circling that. Okay? Did you resolve your beef with Seth? You two were great. I have no beef with Seth. I just didn't realize that if my company doesn't pay him, we can't be friends. So I don't know. I really haven't reached out to him, but he's reached out to me a few times. I don't have a beef with Seth. I think Seth Joyner is a legendary Philadelphia Eagle, and I wish nothing but the best for him. Honest to God, I have no problem with Seth. The problem is that, since he feels that, he's not being paid by us, all of a sudden, we're not friends any longer. So that's a Seth Joyner thing. You'll have to ask him. I don't have a problem with him. I really don't. Why would I? He's one of Jerome Brown's best friends. I have no problem with that man. No, well, God bless and Godspeed. Absolutely no problem with him. He said, Bucks, they beat the fuck out of you the last 2 games. 2 times you played him, they worked you over, Greg. Laugh? What are you laughing at? The Bucks kicking the shit out of you? Crushing you? What was the score? Hey, somebody do me a favor. Kyle, What was the score of the last 2 Buck games combined? I could count on you. Kyle, give me the score of the last 2 Buck games. Combined. What were the score of the last 2 Buck games? They were injured? Well, dude, that's on you, fuckstick. That's not on the Bucks. They were injured. Welcome to the NFL, kid. Welcome to the NFL. They were injured. Really? It's called football, dog. It's called football. They were hurt. We didn't have all of our guys. Bucks beat the Eagles in the last 2 games they've played against one another, 65-25. That's working your ass over. Well, hey, spit. You got a chance this year to rectify it. Down in good old Tampa. How you doing? 65. Let me write that down. Last 2 games they've played, 65-25. Tampa Bay has destroyed the Eagles. We've had our guys out. I don't remember anybody out on defense. I remember Baker Mayfield carving that defense up. That was number 1. Carved them up. Put 31 on them. Put 31 on them. We didn't want to get off the bus. Oh, that's a you thing. That's a you thing, dude. Still, the Eagles organization still has the ability to flex because of their success. As you know, Merrill is just I have no problem with Merrill Reese. I love Merrill Reese and will always. He is a Philly legend. Nobody talks negative about Merrill Reese. Absolutely true. And that will never be done here. Never be done here. Okay? Hey, believe you me, Eric, I do that morning radio show in Tampa. I told him, hey, you want to prove to me that you're a playoff team? I'm talking, here, you want me to tell you what I told them? Xander, you'll like this. Do you know what I told the Buck fans today? You want to prove to me you're a Super Bowl contender? You got to beat Philly again. Because if you don't beat Philly, I don't believe you. If you don't beat Philly again, I don't buy you. I think you'll be a pretender. Okay? I don't believe you. I do not. Philly doesn't have to win that game against the Bucks. The Buccaneers do. The Bucks have more to prove. Eagles don't. They could lose a game. They could lose 3 or 4 games and still be in the window where you're going. That team's still going to be they're still going to be there at the end. The Bucks have to win that game. Philly doesn't. Philly doesn't have to win the Cowboy game. Because Philly's won the game. I mean, dude, every team that's on the Philadelphia Eagles schedule this year has to prove it that they can beat that team. You want to be the champ, you got to beat them. That's where M. Reyes' line comes in. You know, that's the champ. And they've been one of the best organizations in the NFC. Well, they've got nothing to prove. The only people Philly has to prove it to is Philly. They don't have to prove it to the Bucks, the Rams, the Chiefs, or the Cowboys. If you've played football, you know that. Boy, I'll tell you what, Sills, that game against Dallas needs that game. If Dallas gets killed and rolled in that game, that's going to be a long year. Eagles steamroll you in that game? Man, shit, does that knock you off your perch? Eagles drop it because they had some injuries here or there? You think that changes my opinion? Now, if they get rolled, which they will not, then that's a different conversation. But you lose 26-27 and you're injured, AJ doesn't play, what have you. I'm just saying. Okay? That's not going to sway me off of if the Eagles are going to be one of those teams at the end of the year. No. How could it be? The Eagles, here, can I show you something? The Eagles' worst moments are the 2023 Eagles where they were 11 wins. Their high is 14 in a Super Bowl. You pick that. You're between 11 and 14. Your floor is 11. Your ceiling's 14. You tell me where you are. Well, gee, we landed in the middle. 12 or 13? Okay. Fuck, you're in the game. You're in the game. I get it. I never thought they were great that year. I thought they were frauds in 23, and they were. AJ's going to be fine. He's ramping up at the right time. He's ramping up at the right time with no camp reps at all. How is he ramping up? What? On a treadmill? The fuck are you talking about, ding dong? If Jalen remembered he plays for the Eagles, we win those Buck games. It's not an Eagles issue. It's a QB1 issue. Yeah, because he can't handle Bowles. Todd Bowles. I mean, Vic ran a lot of those coverages that Todd ran in that Super Bowl against the Kansas City Chiefs. I mean, you saw a lot of the coverages. They looked like Todd Bowles' coverages. Todd Bowles is exceptional. You know what he told? You want to hear a secret? Todd's coming on my Tampa show, and he's going to come on here during Buck Week. Just so you know. The head football coach of Tampa Bay Buccaneers is going to come on here. Hey, Bob, can't stop that shit. Oh, go ahead, call him. I know Nelson. Me and him have been boys for 20 years. Okay? PR guy. I know him very well. Thank you. And I know the general manager, Jason Light, very well. So we're on a good place right now with the Bucs. All right? You know what the key is? Todd knows how to defend dual threat quarterbacks. Check him out against Baltimore. Check him out against Buffalo. Check him out against any of those. Okay? Yeah, that's right, dog. That's what I do. Again, enemy? I don't root for anybody, including Tampa. Do you not get that? I work for this show and for JAKIB. That's who I work for. Content. I'm not a key fob guy. I'm not a journalist. I don't have to suck up to anybody. It doesn't work. That's awesome. Thank you. Thank you very much. That's awesome there. Niner all day. I think I got to do some Niner stuff for you. By the way, I think you're gonna make the playoffs this year. I got high expectations for the 49ers. By the way, that kid Ricky Pearsall, according to John Lynch, is having a hell of a camp, and they like him, and he's going to look like to be their number one guy. I think the 49ers are going to have a bounce-back year. They're going to win a boatload of games because of the shitty schedule they got. I think you're going to win 12 ball games. You bet your ass, man. Get this. Isn't it funny? Isn't it? Hey, Niner all day. Eagles have a 4-win season. They bounce back, but 49ers can't have a down season, and they think their window's shut. Shows you how fucking ignorant they are. That's a stupid comment. Teams have bad years. 49ers have not had a bad run over the last 10 years. They just got to win that bitch. Sills, I hate to say it, but the Bucs have had our number for years. The Eagles are 2-4 versus Tampa Bay since that playoff game down in Tampa in 1979. I was Vermeil, too, by the way. Some teams just don't match up well. I think it's got a lot to do with the weather when they go down there. I heard Xander say weather game. It is. I'll tell you what, September, humidity, 98 degrees, 98 humidity. Man, if you ain't practicing in that shit, you're not used to that stuff. I'm just telling you, that's not normal. That is just not normal. It's tough to play in that. It's tough to play early, and it's tough to play late in that. Big Sills, did you get the pass where you can go to any NFL team? Yeah. I'm NFL credentialed nationally. I can go to any facility I want, including Philadelphia Eagles. And if they kept me out, I could file a complaint with Park Avenue because I'm credentialed to the National Football League through Brian and the head of communications with the NFL. Yes, I can go anywhere I want. I can go to any facility I want in the league. Any facility. And I have been for 4 years. Excuse me. I've got credentials on the floor here for Super Bowls, for NFL teams that I've had for decades. Do you want to see them? You let me know and I'll show them to you. I've got credentials on the floor in my office here that I've had that teams give me. Okay? Right? Made it to an NFC championship game as the quarterback and also got to the Super Bowl, nearly won it. He's good. Ethan said, show it. I think I will. Hang on for a minute. Hang on, let me get him. Let me get him.
What up, everybody? I don't know what happened to Big Sills. Let me see if he's all good. I didn't even notice he was out. All right. I didn't even notice he dipped out. I looked up. I'm like, I don't hear Sileo. Where is he? I don't know where Sills is. Let me see if I can get him up here. Give me a second, guys. Sorry. Producing on the fly. What's up, everybody? What's up, Showtime? Showtime. I haven't seen you in here in a minute, my guy. Appreciate you, brother. You didn't pay the cat. I don't think that's it. All right. I don't think that's it. Show's canceled. Nah, not sorry, Spike. Not happening today. I don't play the victim. I'm not worried about all the people colluding against us. Let me text this dude. Give me a sec, guys. I'm in the middle of editing a video for my ZK's Garage channel. Here he is. I didn't even have to text him. What happened? I looked up and you were gone.
I unplugged my computer.
It was abrupt.
Yeah, no, I unplugged it. I unplugged
it. Good to have you back. All right. I'll see you in half an hour.
Okay, good. All right. So here's a Super Bowl. I think that's Super Bowl 50. Let's see here. I got a bunch more. That's Super Bowl 50. Oh, here we go. Chargers gave me one. Right there, Chargers. I got another one. NFL credential. I could go into any facility or any football game I feel like. Nowhere. And by the way, I don't need the permission of the Eagles to go into their facility. Bob Lang doesn't run NFL communications. No stadium access. Let's see here. Here, this is what this one says. Press box, post-game field, post-game locker rooms only. And what they do with the media, I can't go on, I can't go down on the field. Where do you think they fucking put you, douchebag? They put you in the media section at the fucking at the stadium. Holy shit. Don't talk to me about press passes, ass bag. I've been involved with the National Football League for over 40 years. I know what's going on here. Holy shit. You can't be dumber, man. Okay? Go to an Eagles game. Sure. Okay. No problem. Holy cow. You have to show us like I'm lying to you. Like, who the fuck are you to lie to? You have to assume for me to want to lie to you that I give a shit really that much. Hey, Sills was watching the Cowboys document. Oh, my God. I was watching that thing, too, and I've got to tell you. Holy cow. America's team, the gambler, and his Cowboys. Let me make a point to you today. My wife is the biggest Tom Landry fan. We were watching that fucking bullshit last night about Skip Bayless. That has to be one of the biggest lies I've ever heard about Coach Landry in my entire life. Landry forgot the names of players. Coach Landry got fired because he kept all the old players because they were his favorite guys. That's why he got fired. And Bayless is the guy that called Aikman gay. He wrote a fucking book on it. I was in the building. I was there. Skip Bayless has no contact. That helmet up there, Stephen Jones and Jerry sent that to me personally because I had my cowboy helmet lost. I know those men. They've been on the Stephen's been on the program 4 or 5 times. Yeah, Bayless made an innuendo and wrote it in his book that Troy Aikman was gay. Why do you think Aikman has never had a relationship with Skip Bayless? You've never seen those two together in a conversation. Troy would never give that guy the common sense or the common courtesy of sitting down. He would never talk to him. Never. I love Tom Landry. Tom Landry was a great man. And to have that guy take a shit on him while he's in the ground is fucking ridiculous. It's absolutely uncool. And I was there. He wasn't in the building. I was in the building. Everyone knew. You know why Troy Aikman in his early years with the Cowboys was never seen with a woman? He was dating a cowboy chick who was a cowboy cheerleader. And it's against team policy to date a cheerleader. He met her when he was in Oklahoma. She was a Sooner. What a fucking bunch of lies that thing was. It was all lies. He had nothing to do with the Herschel Walker trade. You talk about changing the narrative and Jimmy having to protect what he did is absurd. Let me ask you something, guys. Okay? Let me ask you something. Let me put this out there. If Jerry was so good at building the Cowboys, why hasn't he done it in the last 30 years? If he was so good at what he did, why Howie Roseman has built 3 different teams, right? Doug, the 22 team, and now this team, right? Howie's done it. How come he hasn't been able to do it for 30 years? That guy comes off like he fucking is the guy who built that dynasty. Not true. Just not true. The Cowboy, boy, I'll tell you, I mean, it's really a great documentary. You got to see it. It's on Netflix. It's fucking great. I'm going to watch the rest of it tonight. It's really good. But it tells you a story that's not really true in many ways. I believe, look, Jerry is without a doubt a gambler. He is, no question, the architect of taking a franchise for $150 million and turning it into a $13 billion company. There is no doubt about it. But Bayless was writing stories about Troy Aikman and about how he was like an innuendo. He was a homosexual. It's so obnoxious. He's an insider? Where? I never saw him in the building. Then he comes off on like the old shows, and I guess he has a show somewhere, and he makes you think that was his pulse on the team. I don't ever remember that. I was there for 2 years. I don't remember him. I don't remember him. Sills, what about the Miami stuff? Was it really that bad for you guys in the press during that time? It was horrible. I was the catalyst of it. Me, Jerome, Winston Moss, all of us. I loved it, though. Mike Missinelli did write a book about me. Google it. And how I embraced the outlaw image. Absolutely. I did it every second I could. You know what was cool on my morning show today? Ed Ogeron said, you set the standard, Sileo, you and Brown. You set the standard. We did. I talked shit on Monday and Tuesday. I didn't talk shit on Saturdays. I fucking made you know who you were going to play. What, you think because I do sports talk radio now that you guys, that's where I got my shit talking from? You're out of your mind. I've been this way my whole life. Sills, the problem with the Cowboys, my dad said it when it was alive, you pay the architect to be an architect. You pay a carpenter to be a carpenter. You don't pay an architect that thinks he's a carpenter. That's right. Okay? Absolutely. So I was really proud that Coach O said those wonderful things this morning. It's like nobody set the standard like you and Jerome Brown. And I know that. And in the publicity, it was, hey, dude, when you're telling people that have woke ass, and you could see some of the woke ass people in here, when I'm telling Notre Dame people that they're taking, touchdown Jesus took a knee, you can't say that shit. I did. I didn't care. I didn't care. People hated us. They still do. We're the most hated team in the history of American sports. I love it. You think that's by coincidence? Google that too. You know what's really great about today? I can prove receipts. Can you? Yeah. Was it hard? Of course it was. Everywhere we went. Bayless tried to make it seem that Jerry Jones did the Herschel Walker trade. Well, who came up with the value chart? That was all Jimmy. The Haley move. That was all Jimmy. Because if, Anthony, think of this. If Jerry was so good at it, where's he been for 30 years? They're doing this documentary now on Netflix, honest to God. And you're like, okay, well, that sounds great. Well, why can't you duplicate that? How he's duplicating it, how he's making that happen How he's looking at 26, 27, all of that shit. I don't see what Jerry's done the last 30 years. Do you? What's he done? The Jacksonville Jaguars have won more playoff games. Okay? How come it never happened again? That's the point, Carmine. How come he's never done it? Johnson leaves. Switzer hangs on for one last ride with Jimmy's guys. After that, what happened? Those Hurricane teams were very, very good, though. He's not lying about that. Jimmy Johnson was arguably the best NCAA coach ever. Up there with the Pioneers. Thank you very much, dude. And we get called. Tim Brando came on my program down in Tampa and said the same thing. He goes, you guys were pioneers. And I never looked at it like that, but I guess so. You know, it's funny. My wife said something to me. I don't know. It may have been 20 years ago. I looked at her and I, honest to God, said this. I go, you think they'll ever do the things we did? She goes, never. I looked at her and I said, you're fucking high. She's right. I mean, she's right. They've never duplicated what we've done. Then again, it was a different dude. Dude, it's taken me 30 years not to be that guy. Those guys on those teams were very real people, angry, rough individuals. Those people were rough. I got thrown out of Maryland for throwing a guy out of a window. Those were the people we had down there. It was like the longest yard guys. And it wasn't just me. There was a whole collection of them. I mean, they were just crazy dudes. Crazy. You watch. They're going to do a documentary on that one day. You know, that was kind of nice. Billy Corbin's really a great friend. He's been on. But you really don't know because of all the FBI investigations we had. Dude, the FBI was around us all the time because we had drug dealers. I mean, those people, all of these guys are my best friends. I love every one of those men. Jimmy didn't build squad. Jimmy built that team. Jerry didn't do squad. Jimmy built that team. Absolutely. Okay? All right? And let me tell you, I could see my aunt in here. My aunt and my grandmother cried when I got thrown out of Maryland. They were in the room with the coach, Bobby Ross. I'll tell you bullshit stories. I got down to Miami. You know what Jimmy said to me? Jimmy said this to me. He put me down in front of him, the man who comes on this program all the time. He looked me right in the face and he's you fuck up one time. Okay? You fuck up one time here. I'm going to throw your ass out. Told me flat out. You screw up here. I had to lock myself in my dorm room. I locked myself in my dorm room every day after practice, after workouts. I couldn't leave because I was afraid. Because he said this, I don't need you. I left there first team All-American. 56th player taken as a junior. I mean, and a guy who helped set the standard at UM. He would have got rid of me, though. Every year we had to have a conversation with him. Every year. we had to have a conversation at the end, whether or not you were going to keep your scholarship. And you know what he would do? He'd let you walk in his office. You weren't sure you were keeping it because there were so many great players there. So many great players. Hall of Famers, future Hall of Famers. Fucking guys you never heard of, like Reggie Sutton. You guys never heard of Reggie Sutton? He was just as talented as Deion Sanders. He got thrown off the team. You know why? He was a cokehead. And I love Reggie Sutton. I played with him. Reggie Sutton, here's the story here. Reggie Sutton was so fucking good, he was as good as Deion Sanders. He got thrown off the team. He played with me on the arena team because he had to. The Saints signed him. That next week, he was the NFL Defensive Player of the Week. 2 weeks later, they couldn't find him and they called me. Where's Reggie? Yep, that's Reggie. My wife knows Reggie Sutton. One of the greatest athletes I've ever seen. Bar none. 4.3 40, 40 vertical. Insane. Insane. The athlete Deion was. Had a drug problem. Played with guys like that. And there were thousands of them down there. Okay? I mean, and Coach Johnson let us be us. Wow. Just even talking about that gives me cold chills. Because it was an era when I was me. And I played and I was great. And we were great. Never see anything like it. Never seen anything like it. Like I said, that Fiesta Bowl we played with over 90 million people watching, gave up 7 first downs. That's how good we were. And we lost. My aunt was there that night. Crazy. So I see that Netflix of people talking about the Miami teams. You think there's any coincidence that Jimmy took that same mentality to Dallas? The body bag game. How about when you guys had Jerome on the team? I mean, Jerome, get this, folks. You know how much I love that man. Right there, right? Jerome had to die like that. And what do I mean by that? Jerome had to die like that. Because it's the way he lived his life. Jerome died the way he lived his life. It was there was no other way. He lived his life on the edge. I mean, he did. Love that guy. I always will. We're connected forever. I mean, we did things you never believe. Quit living in the past. It's a fucking documentary that was on the air last night, and someone asked me about the Miami fucking days because there's a documentary going on. Shut the fuck up. Okay, they were asking me about the documentary and the comments that were made about the team last night. Jesus criminy. Jerome only had one great year? What? Yeah, okay. I don't think so. I think he made the Pro Bowl 3 times, but okay. Michael Irvin said in a recent podcast with Aikman, ride or die. Yeah. When you played at UM or you played with the Cowboys under Jimmy, you're either going to prison or you're going to the Hall of Fame. There's no other way around it. Those Miami guys, they're a different world, man. Okay? You walk into a house and you see players that come from potbelly stoves and grass on the roof and nothing in their lives but making it out of poverty. Those are the dudes I played with. Eddie Brown's mom, the receiver that was taken in the first round by the Bengals, his mother had dirt on the ground in Belgrade, Florida. I walk in. Okay? I walk in. They got a potbelly stove. There's 6 kids in this one-room place. And I'm like, wow. Wow. I was going to talk about the Netflix thing. And Eddie Brown went on to be a first-round draft choice. Buy his mom a new home. Got her a $600,000 house. I was in it. I had dinner in it. What? Michael Irvin, 15 of a family of 17 kids. Those are the guys I was playing ball with. Nobody from ING. Nobody from the suburbs. Nobody with any money. Just chances of going and winning and bettering your life. You see that documentary. That's where it started. I don't think people really get how crazy great and all that time and what we do. College football is where we are right now because of what we did. Hey, people in Philly, you know poverty in some places in your city. Anytime you see a kid get out of that, I root for that. I root for all that. I love kids with stories like that. Didn't have shit. I'll tell you what, compared to some of the people I played with, I was a millionaire. Yeah. That's why it aggravates me when I hear people doing lies. Telling lies. You weren't there. I was. You know, let me tell you one last story on this Netflix American Team Gambler. American Team, the gambler and his Cowboys. Some of you I've told this story to. I'm going to tell you the last time. I don't really talk about it a lot. I've got Randy White, Ed Too Tall Jones, Danny White. I've got guys that played for Coach Landry in their last Super Bowl. The day Jerry bought the team, Coach walks in. He's in tears. We went like this. You can hear people under their breaths going, oh my God, Coach Landry's crying. I had never in my life seen anything like that before with a stoic man like that who kept his pride and poise and his character all the time. I had never seen anything like it. That documentary wasn't there. I was there. And he's sitting there. He's bawling. Guys in the room started crying. Guys who had been with him for 13, 14 years started crying. They just started crying. Men who are fucking maniacs, who would knock anybody out in the drop of a hat, were crying. Men, it's been a great 29 years. They just fired me. And you sat there and you were like, wow. And I remember looking over at Crawford Kerr going, you'll never forget this moment as long as you live. You'll never forget this moment. Coach Landry just walked out and that was it. That was it. Crazy. You got to watch. That Netflix thing is pretty damn cool. But it kind of tells you some of the story. They're really pumping up Jerry to sound like he was some sort of like personnel wizard. He's been the worst GM in 30 years. Worst. All right. So again, let's do this. We're actually going to do the 53 here in a second. We'll do that here in a minute. I heard John McMullen say something this morning. True. Knocked on the door. Hey, Sil. I'm like this. I'm going to say something here. You guys are probably going to, I go, this is an Italian neighborhood. What do you want? And he goes like this. Jerome goes like this. Look, dude, what do you mean? I said, come on in, come on. My grandfather, they just knocked on my door. I go, dude, it's an Italian neighborhood. What do you guys want? Tires? Rims? What do you want? And they all started laughing. It was Alonzo Highsmith. It was Jerome Brown. It was Darryl Fullington. And it was, I think, Selwyn Brown. So these guys walk in. My grandfather's like, holy shit, it's Jerome Brown. And they sit at the table. By the way, Jerome had the same response about my grandma's meatballs as my wife did. Sits down and they start eating. I don't know. They got there about 9:30, 10 o'clock. They didn't leave till 3 in the morning. My grandfather got Ballantine and Schaefer beer in the basement. I don't know if you guys know Ballantine or Schaefer beer. I don't even know if they have it anymore. So we bring it all up. I don't know. Jerome must have drank 20 beers. That's right. Vinny was in New York winning the Heisman. And I didn't go down to the ceremony. Those guys did, and they came back, and they were staying in Stanford. And they go, Sileo lives here. I don't even know how they got they were knocked on my door. And then there's Jerome in there. He's just eating away, eating the spaghetti. I go, damn, this is great. And I'm like, yeah, isn't it? He must have drank 25 beers that night. My grandfather laughed. And my grandfather, after that, looked at me and he goes, that guy is one whale of a dude. So Jerome hugs my grandpa. And my grandfather's not really, you don't hug anybody really. So he hugged Jerome. He hugged Highsmith. We all, my grandfather ever since then. And get this, the day Jerome died, my girlfriend, now wife, we went up for something. I forget what we went up for. I think it was a wedding of a friend of mine. And I get a call from the Associated Press. And they go like this, did you hear the news? I go, yeah. And they go, Jerome passed. He got killed in a car wreck. And I was like, what? And me and my wife got in a car and we left. And we drove back home because we had to go to the funeral. And we had to go to the ceremony. I had to go. And so did all your Eagle guys. All the Eagle players were down there. Even guys who hadn't played anymore. Chris Carter was up in Minnesota. He came. All your guys. And Reggie White did the eulogy. He did the eulogy. And my wife's sitting in between Cortez Kennedy and Russell Maryland. And all three of them are crying. Alonzo's sitting next to me and we're going, Jesus Christ. Something you don't get over. You don't get over that. You just don't get over it. The only thing that doesn't happen now with Jerome is the tears. The sorrow's still there. Had to be around him. You had to be influenced by him. You just had to be in his presence. He made me great. Buddy Ryan loved him. Reggie White loved him. I still think to this day, if Jerome hadn't died, Reggie would have retired a Philadelphia Eagle. I believe that with all my heart. That Reggie would have stayed in Philly. Because, by the way, the relationship with Favre and Reggie was because of Jerome. He always felt he couldn't save Jerome. You know that parking lot you guys have where the stadium is now, the Link? Veterans Stadium was in that place, right? Well, Jerome would get in his motorcycle and go 120 miles an hour in that big parking lot you had. I don't know if you still have that big parking lot. The Spectrum was there, right? I'd go up to that area and I'd go up there and see you guys up there all the time. And you had the Spectrum in that place, and you also had the Vet was in that joint. Right? And Jerome would be going back and forth 125 miles, 130 miles an hour. And Jeff Fisher and everybody would freak out how crazy he was. I mean, man, did I love Reggie too. Reggie was a super dude. Privileged to have known him also. Yeah, not as close, but I knew him very well. Yes. Complex man. Very religious. Ultra conservative. I don't believe a lot of Eagle fans or half the fan base would not like him today because of his politics. Jerome was direct opposite of him. Like, Reggie would probably like Trump, believe it or not, and Jerome would hate him. So you would have that, but they would be brothers. My guess would be that's how that would work. I don't want to speak for them, men. But, yeah. Yeah. So, dude, psycho. I was in the room once. So we're in Brooksville. Jerome was putting on his football camp. We're staying at Jerome's house. I'm like, what the fuck is that? This guy knows Latin. This guy spoke in the tongues. Craziest thing you ever heard. Crazy. Just a great dude. Both, can you imagine? I think how many guys are dead off your D line now from that era? Jerome, Reggie, I think Wilkes is dead too, right? I mean, there's like 3 dudes off that D line that aren't with us any longer. Pitts, Mike Pitts, that's it. Not my bad. Clyde Simmons is a coach. Okay? Yeah. Okay. Dude, he was a conservative. He was a conservative man. Jerome would not have. Jerome would be doing pickets and shit, and Jerome would be doing protests and all that. I mean, hey, Jalen Carter, I said it on draft day. He reminds me a lot of him. He's just got to work his technique. He gets his technique down. He's got a shot to be better than Jerome. Jerome wasn't he started becoming technically more sound under Buddy. And he was getting better and better. Jerome was going to Hall of Fame. He would have been another Eagle Hall of Famer. And this kid Carter's got the feet. Okay? He has the feet to be that guy. I'm looking forward to seeing him this year. I think he's going to have a spectacular year. Now, my problem is the guys next to him. How good are they? Boy, I'll tell you something. One thing that I've learned this year, can I make a point to you about Jordan Davis? Jordan Davis is more essential now and his value has gone. Hey, is this fair to say? Jordan Davis's value has gone up. You know why? You don't have any depth. at defensive tackle. I mean, his value's gone up. You don't have a lot of people behind him. I mean, when you get away from Carter and Davis, boy, that's a drop off the cliff. I mean, he is by far the second best defensive tackle in that building. And he's got to play better. He's got to be three down. He's got to be a three down guy. By the end of the year, if he does live up to it, you could have the best or one of the best tandems at defensive inside tackles in the league if that kid does his job. His value's gone up. I mean, I watched the rest of those guys. The Cleveland Browns beat the piss out of them. I mean, they beat the shit out of them the last preseason game. They drilled them off the ball. They're not going to do that to Carter and Davis. Now, who's going to be the rotation piece? You lost Booker, okay? Right? Here's my problem with Moro Ajomo. Ajomo's had a really great camp against a really great player in Mulata. Okay? Is that guy going to play 1,000 reps? I'm not so sold on that. Here, let me show you something here, too, on your depth chart. I want to go here on your depth chart here. And somebody asked me a question. Sills, why are you so down on the defensive side of the ball? They haven't played yet. I go, that's pretty much the point. Here's my problem with Nolan Smith. And I'll say it again about Nolan Smith. Okay? I'll say it again about him. I don't think he can hang on. I don't know if he's going to play 900 to 1,000 reps. Sills, Reggie and Jerome seem to be polar opposite. Could that be like Carter and Jordan Davis? Absolutely true. Yes. Yes. Dude, you can have different philosophical opinions on life. But if you have the same love for the game and you have the same love for the sport, that's what binds you. People in life think politics and religion bind you. Your love for what you're doing with each other each and every single day and on Sundays, that's what binds you. That's what the culture in the Eagle locker room is. That's what brings you together. Football brings you together. Your politics and your religion don't. That's right, Abe. Sports is a religion. Playing football is like, it's blind faith. How many times do you have to go to your preacher and you talk to your preacher on blind faith? You talk to him, right? Or when you go to your position coach and you talk to Vic, you have blind faith that Vic's going to put you in a position to succeed so that you can fulfill your dreams, right? That's blind faith. That's you're trusting that guy's opinion that he's going to create something. Like, look at Zach Bond. Talk about the ultimate blind faith. Hey, Zach, we brought you here to be an edge rusher. Okay. Well, Devin White blew. Okay. They put him off ball. He's like, I've never played. I got you. All right. I'm going to put you in a position to succeed. And as all of a sudden, all you have to do is give me effort. Play your balls off. I'll put you where you need to go, and I'll pave out the yellow brick road for you. But you got to play your ass off. Bond played his ass off from Green Bay and Brazil to New Orleans. And he believed it. Now, this guy's like a top 25 player in the NFL. He's first team All-Pro. He just signed a $17 million deal. That's the ultimate blind faith. I mean, you talk about getting it done and believing in somebody, you got to buy in. Most people don't buy in because they don't have the faith that you can get them there. That's why when you got shitty coaching, and you've got Sean Desai, or not that Sean's a bad coach, but Matt Patricia's a shitty coach. He lived off the backbone of Bill Belichick. That guy's shitty. Darius Slay never believed him. Okay? Nothing, right? So, I mean, Vic Fangio has a coaching staff that installs that. Bobby King is a fucking great coach. He's going to be a coordinator somewhere. Bobby King, Clint Hurt, Christian Parker, they're not going to be on your coaching staff next year. They will not be on your coaching staff. They are going to get jobs at other places as defensive coordinators or assistant head football coaches. I can't believe nobody picked those guys off your team. Kellen Moore was the least important coach in your coaching staff a year ago. I'll say that with conviction. Kellen Moore was the least impressive coach of any coach you had last year. Hey, run the ball. Quarterback, don't throw it. What? Yeah, go ahead, run it. Look at the miraculous job. We just got through talking about this yesterday. The linebacking core a year ago was atrocious. Now it's the deepest unit on the football field, and you've got potential superstars everywhere. Look at your secondary. They felt so comfortable getting rid of Slay and Gardner Johnson because Christian Parker's back there. So I blame Dennis Allen for not developing. Yeah, okay. Mickey Loomis has to be killing himself over this move. You got Zach Bond for 3 or 4 years in New Orleans, and you didn't know that guy was in the room? Bro, I liked Denard Wilson. I liked him. I think he's a good coach. Okay, I liked him. Look at the job that Bobby King has done with your backers. Dude, Nakobe Dean sucked. Zach Bond was a nobody. Nobody. What? First team All-Pro, 130 tackles out of the other guy. Then, think of this. Look how good the linebacking coaching is going on. You haven't drafted a linebacker since 1979. And you paid a guy at the position. I don't know. Does that sound like a change in philosophy? That coaching staff is better coaching staff than what Buddy Ryan had in Philly. And there were great coaches on that staff. There were great coaches on that staff. Do I think that Vic Fangio is a better coordinator than Buddy Ryan? No, I don't. Do I think he is runs a more complex defense than Buddy Ryan? In today's game, probably. The eras are different. Here's why. Vic has evolved. Buddy didn't have to evolve. The game was played in a phone booth in the 80s and 90s. Defense was played in a phone booth. And when Buddy created the 46, and he created that defense, that was the first defense that was where you could play a dude with zone, and then it was more of a physical penetrating type defense with hard-hitting guys Because remember, the 46, the reason the 46, they had a guy by the name of Doug Plank that played in Chicago, and it was called the 46. He was like a roving linebacker playing safety. I don't know if the 46 could make it today because you've got to have great open field tacklers. Like, if you don't have good tackling this year, that defense is going to be a problem. You can't put a guy like Sidney Brown out there in Vic's defense. Why? Because if you have a zone back there, you got to have sure tackling guys. Would you not agree? A year ago, one of the coolest things about your Eagle defense was what? Is that you all had great tacklers. They were exceptional tacklers a year ago. Okay. I mean, guys, dress rehearsal's over. I do. Abe, I think Sidney Brown's a liability in coverage. I think Trotter's a liability. That doesn't shock me. Now, remember, dude, you've got to have a guy like Mike Singletary playing Mike. You've got to have Steve McMichael up front. You've got to have 3 first-team Hall of Famers like Dan Hampton and Steve McMichael playing linebacker or playing D-line for you. Do you understand? There were 3 Hall of Fame defensive linemen on that 46. Dent, Hampton, and now McMichael. There were 3 Hall of Famers, and the Mike was Mike Singletary. Well, since I imagine they want offensive minds for the head coach. Really, think about this. Who did a better job of coaching last year? Vic Fangio or Kellen Moore? Who do you think did a better coaching job? Vic. Who did a better position coaching job? The wide receiver coach on Philly or Bobby King? The linebackers. Bobby King. Who did a better job in the Super Bowl? Coaching his lines. Clint Hurt or Jeff Stoutland? Clint Hurt. You didn't get past the 50 for 3.5 quarters. I can't believe nobody was packed off that team. All right. I'm going to say something to you here you're probably never going to hear anyway. Big Sil's the bad guy. He the bad guy of Philly. Right here. He the bad guy. Oh, my God. Wait a minute here. I cannot wait until one thing is being said. Okay? You know what that is? I can't wait for the post-game shows this year on JAKIB Sports, baby. Woo! It's going to be hot. Get this. Do you not agree, folks? Between me and John and Xander, it'll be the hottest Eagle post-game show in the city. That's fucking ridiculous. And guess what? I knew you'd say that. With all that being said, ladies and gentlemen, it's my boy Big Z and the bad guy, Big Z. Xander Krause, how you doing?
What up, Big Sills? How you doing, brother?
How you doing, my friend? What's going on, dog?
Not much, man. Not much. Ready to go, man. Ready to go after training camp now. Gearing up. We got 1 preseason game left tomorrow and on to the regular season, my friend.
What about the loss of Johnny Wilson?
I actually think it hurts more than people think because of the skill set he provided to the team. It's not that he was a great receiver or anything, or anything like that, but when you're a running team and you have big body wide receivers that are willing to block the way he blocked, that's a hard guy to replace. It's kind of like a nose tackle. You know what I mean? It's like there's not that many of them in the NFL, and the Eagles thrived off running the football. So I think it's a little bit of a hit. It might change up maybe who they keep around, who they don't. If they keep an extra tight end now, I think that could change some things there. But we'll see what they end up doing. I kind of feel bad for Johnny Sills because I've always said I like the people elements of football. I like the stories. I like the players. I like overcoming obstacles. And I felt like Johnny really put the work in this summer to try and look better. And it was all coming in place for him. You know, he had a good training camp. He made some big catches. People were finally starting to give him a little bit of credit. And I think that comes through hard work. And, you know, to get this at the very end of training camp is definitely a dagger for him. So I hate that part of it for him, but kind of the nature of the beast. And now the Eagles are going to have to figure out a way to prevail. Not the biggest loss, though. Not the biggest loss.
No, but it's part of the 53. And if you got to look at what the Eagles went through a year ago, when you're talking about backups being a major factor in how you won the Super Bowl, he's part of the war of attrition. You know, I mean, in case somebody goes down, because look, I mean, I don't know what's going on with AJ. Everybody's telling me, he's fucking fine. He's just taking it. You know what he decided to do because he won a Super Bowl? He decided to take off the training camp, and he's not going to practice. So we know what they're going to do. They're going to pull him out of the barn when they need him on September 4th. He's ready to go, Sills. Don't worry about the fact he hasn't practiced at all during training camp here. All right. So I want to play this game with you, man. I wrote down 53 dudes. And I want to hear what you think about it. I don't know what these 53 are going to look like. Cut down day is Saturday? Is that right? Cut down
Tuesday.
day Saturday. It's Tuesday. All right. So you got to go from 90 to 53. You know, there used to be like 3 or 4 cut days.
Yeah, right. You used to get that 90 to 70, I think.
Yep. And then you get down to your 47, now 53. And boy, I'll tell you what, they even changed the practice squad rules. I didn't know that until I heard John say you could be a 10-year vet and you could be on the practice squad. Holy shit.
Yeah, they changed that. Yeah, they changed that.
All right. Let me go here.
Oh, remember, so they're gearing up to add an 18th game. So they're going to make things better on rosters to try and, you know, cover all their tracks before they do it, that you have enough guys, basically.
Okay. I thinking they're going to keep 3 quarterbacks. Hurts, McKee, and McCord.
Yeah, I agree. Yep.
Okay.
Same 3 for me.
Running back. Barkley, Shipley, AJ.
Yep.
They're going to probably designate AJ as the fullback, right?
No. Why would they do that?
Because, again, we just got through talking about being more of a run offense.
Yeah, they're not going to designate him as a fullback, though. He's a receiver.
Well, then what's Van Sumeren designated as?
He'll be designated as a fullback.
Okay, so
you mean AJ Brown? Yeah, no, I don't think that would.
No, AJ Dillon.
AJ Dillon will be designated as a fullback. I thought you were like Brown. Like,
no. AJ Dillon.
Dillon, I still don't think so. No, I think they're going to keep 3 running backs. I think they were right. They were prepared to keep 3 running backs anyway.
Okay, so Van Sumeren, I didn't add him into it. You think he makes the team, right?
Yeah, I do. I think he'll probably get the fullback designation. He'll be the only fullback.
Okay, well then that's why they're not going to keep. They're not going 3 tight ends. Here, let me go down the list here. Oh wait, let me get to tight end. Well, if that's the case, then Van Sumeren is now an additional add. I mean,
remember, he's versatile too. He could probably play linebacker for you if you really needed him to.
Okay, so how many tight ends do you think they're keeping?
Tight ends, I'm leaning 2 right now, but it could be 3. You know, I thought Kylan Granson would be the guy for sure if they did keep 3, but maybe now with Johnny Wilson down, do you think about E.J. Jenkins, who is better at that, you know, better suited to kind of be that, as John phrased it earlier, like a pseudo run blocker in the passing game. Probably 2, though. Goddard and Calcaterra.
Right, and I think that's a position where, get this, I think that's where they got to figure out, do we need more depth because we're a run team? Or are we going to go fullback by using A.J. Dillon and Van Sumeren to compensate? You know what I'm saying? 2 tight ends and 2 fullbacks. That's where you kind of have 4 at that position, okay? So here, wide receiver. I wrote down 6 wide receivers.
And Johnny's on the IR now, so he's out.
Johnny's on the IR, so you got AJ, Devontae. Does Michi make the team?
Yes, 100%.
Okay. Then
he's
that
in a
means
lock for me.
it's Anais and Darius. That's 1, 2, 3,
and
4,
Dotson.
5. And Dotson.
So you got AJ, Smitty, Dotson are your top 3. Then you have Mechie, Anais, and Darius Cooper.
Right. Those are your 6, right?
Now here's the dilemma there. Do you keep Avery Williams? He's a return specialist, but he's designated as a receiver.
Okay. Now remember this.
We're not keeping 7.
Okay.
So are you going to ask Anais Smith or Darius Cooper to be your return man, or are you going to cut one of them and put your return man on the team?
What position are you looking at that affects then? Because if you're going to do that and add a guy, you got to subtract a guy. Remember, you got to get to 53 here. It's got to add up.
Yeah.
Okay, so they've got to – I think that's still debatable. Here's one here. You know, I thought they would only keep 10. Now I'm thinking they're going to keep 11. O-lineman, right?
These O-linemen, man, these depth O-linemen don't sound as good as they were cracked up to be.
They don't – well, how about this? They're not ready. Malata, Dickerson, Juergens, Steen, Johnson, Kendall Lamb, Brett, Matt, Kendall?
Definitely Kendall. Second team center.
Okay. Who's the other 2 guys you're keeping?
Probably Hinton. Keegan, I think, will go to the practice squad. Hinton, I don't know. I mean, there's remember, Hinton and Cameron Williams are draft picks.
Yeah, you're not getting rid of them.
I don't know, dude. They haven't
That just
performed
doesn't
very
sound
well.
very deep to me.
No, it doesn't.
Okay? I mean, that doesn't look as good as it did a year ago for some reason. Because now Steen's moved up into the backup swing
right.
role.
You moved your depth into the starter spot and you didn't replace him.
That's right. Okay. So let's go down here now. This is going to be a tougher one. Your defensive ends, Moro Jomo and Carter. Now, let me look down here how I put this here. Defensive tackle, Dad. Let's go tackles first.
Yeah, Jomo,
Carter,
Davis,
Robinson, Young.
Either him or Gabe Hall.
Well, I got 6 here. You think 5?
I think 5.
Okay. Jomo, Davis, Carter, Young, Hall. That's 5. Where's Robinson?
No, I have Jomo, Carter, Davis, Ty Robinson, and Gabe Hall. That's my 5.
Okay. Young's
so I'm leaving out Byron Young and
Scott Sykes.
Yeah.
And Evans.
Yeah, they're done.
Okay.
Byron Young is a sleeper, though. You're not wrong about that. He's a possibility to make the team.
I've heard people like his kid Evans.
Yeah, John said that this morning. So I think it's going to be Gabe Hall, but I could be wrong. It could be Byron Young.
Here's your edge rushers.
Why'd you say 6 though? Do you think they like last year?
I think because that just they don't look very deep.
Don't you kind of look at that trade of people have been like, shitting on me for this take, but
no,
I don't really love that trade of Thomas Booker. I'm not going to lie to you.
Here, let me ask you this. With that being said, don't you think Jordan Davis's value went up?
100%.
I think his value.
Think about this, dude. Think about if one of those top 3 guys, a Jomo, Carter, or Davis, if any of them miss significant time, you have Ty Robinson as your next guy, or Gabe Hall.
That's right.
Thomas Booker was better than those guys.
Absolutely.
I don't know. Look, it might not. It's not the end of the world. I'm not saying it's the end of the world, but that was a good depth piece. He was a good depth piece on this team. And Sills, you brought this up a lot last year. That's part of what makes exceptional teams exceptional is when you can rotate your best players out and then you still get competent play. Last year, the Eagles would have their 3s on the field and they would still be dominating defensively.
That's right.
You don't have that right now. So, well, on paper, you don't have it. Maybe some of these guys emerge as great players. We'll see.
But those guys could come in and they could put those guys in roles. When people said this about a Jomo, one of the things that made Vic so great, he was able to put people in winning positions. you may not have that option because you know why? You may be forced to play players in positions that they're not in positions of success. Like a year ago, you were able to put Nolan Smith and you were able to put Jalix Hunt in winning positions. Why? Because the tackle plays were so exceptional, and what Josh Sweat and those guys were doing in front of him. You know, you say this all the time about Jalen Carter, right? Hey, look at how everybody benefited on having Jalen Carter on a team. Well, don't you think Milton Williams and Josh Sweat helped benefit those edge rushers a year ago on being successful?
Absolutely. I'm not trying to take away anything from those guys, but tell me this. Don't you feel better right now about Moro Ojomo replacing Milton than you did at the start of camp?
Completely 100%.
And I felt this way for a long time on that player. Now, that doesn't mean I don't think Milton Williams was a great football player.
I got it.
He was a great player, but I don't think that's going to be the drop off that really impacts our defense the most. In fact, I think the depth could be a bigger problem where if you have one of those dudes go down, or you got dudes that are tired or whatever, and you're subbing, and then you got Ty Robinson on the field who can't get off a block, you're going to be in trouble. Like that, I think, is a big drop-off because remember, the fourth guy last year in that room was Ojomo, who had a good year and played 400 snaps.
Yeah.
So the fourth guy this year is either Ty Robinson, Gabe Hall, or Byron Young. Those guys got to have a pretty good. They got to be able to play.
So, really, like you just said, so Ty Robinson, Gabe Hall, they have to play like Moro Ojomo did a year ago, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Those guys have to have years like that guy had, where he was a productive player last year. All right. I've got 5 edge rushers. Do you?
5 edge rushers. Yeah.
Okay.
5. Yep.
Nolan, Jalix, Ojulari, Uche, and who's the 5th guy? Patrick Johnson?
Probably Patrick Johnson or Oba.
Okay. They might keep the draft pick kit.
Yeah, Antoine Powell-Ryland, who's really not had a good camp.
Yeah. I mean, Johnson is okay, but I might want to keep the kid from Virginia Tech.
I don't know. Zeal says I'm getting Sileo. I really don't see it like this at all. Like, I know Sileo, everybody thinks that anybody who's negative is like Sileo because Sileo runs the negativity toward the Birds, but I'm just trying to be real, like Zeal. I think there are some problems here. It doesn't mean we can't overcome them, but there's definitely some problems here. I don't think it's being silly.
Don't get your panties in a bind there, real Zeal. We're just fucking talking about who's going to make the roster, douchebag. All right, hang on here now. All right.
Oh, shit.
All right, let's go corner. Q. Jesus criminy.
This is another problem. You have one corner go down. Imagine Quinion goes down.
Oh.
They are absolutely F.
How about this? If you lose, I didn't think about that. You lose Q. This is great. Thank you, Z. If you lose Q, you got the worst secondary in the fucking league. Cooper can't cover 4 positions.
If we lost Q, what would be we would have Jacorian Bennett and Adoree Jackson.
It sounds like a fucking Happy Meal.
Well, that's not what we have. So, I'm not going there until that.
All right.
I don't think Q's going anywhere. I'm just saying you're not at built.
Shit. I got to write that.
Last year, last year, though, I do think this is a significant point because last year we built a defense where Slay missed significant time consistently. And you still had competent play.
That's
like
right.
This year, you're thinking, and Slay, if he was the number 1 corner last year, okay, imagine a world where our number 1 corner misses as much time this year as our number 1 corner did last year. We're not as built to prevail in that situation unless Keely Bingo comes out of nowhere and can play.
So if Q goes down, this is what your secondary is. Tony Bennett and Adoree Jackson. I got to write that topic down. I got to write down that topic for tomorrow.
Well, what you'd actually probably do is you'd probably find the best person that can play slot, put him in slot, and put Cooper to the outside.
Yeah.
And it would be Cooper and Adoree on the outsides, Reed at safety, either Makuba or Brown at the other safety spot, and then I don't know, Mac McWilliams, somebody in the slot. I'm not really sure.
the Big Mac. Give me a McMac. Holy cow. Don't go down, Q. Just saying. Holy shit. But by the way, you're more set up for Bond to go down than you are anybody in that secondary.
I've been saying this. That linebacker core,
I can't believe it. One year.
There's good depth there, man. And they're missing Nakobe Dean still, and they still got good depth.
Bro, that kid, Smile London, I think is going to be somebody.
I do too. He's had a great camp.
I
a really great camp.
He really has.
Look at these nerds, dude. ZN. What do you believe in, like karmic bullshit and putting it into the universe? That has nothing to do with anything. All right.
I think this guy smokes a lot of fucking hash.
What's he talking about here? I love you, brother. What are you talking about?
Putting it into the universe, man.
I'm not a superstitious dude at all. Me talking about a potential injury in the game of football, where injuries happen every single day, is not a big problem.
Wow, man. I bet burnt toast bugs you too, dude. All right, hey, what do you here? Now let's go safety here.
Maybe ZM's not talking about it, as Flex says. All right, we'll see.
Reed Blankenship, the greatness of Sidney Brown, Tristan McCullum, Makuba. How many safeties am I keeping? 4. Reed Blanket. So here's your safeties. Am I right? Sidney, Reed, Tristan, and Makuba.
Sidney, Reed, Tristan, and Makuba. It sounds right.
How do you feel about that 4 guys?
Sounds right.
Sounds right.
I don't feel that.
What do you mean sounds right?
I don't know. My Sileo eyes, I don't really feel all that hot about that.
How come when I name those names, I feel like I'm naming something off a used car lot?
I don't know. I still to this day am not happy about the Gardner Johnson trade. I don't think it was the only explanation that's made sense to date is that they can't handle the guy's personality. I think that's a stupid reason to get rid of a good football player. I do. I'm sorry. I just do. Now, some people say Vic didn't like the way he played. Okay, that's fine. But I don't know. We got worse at that position. Now, I do think if Makuba can stay healthy, we're fine. But I just don't know if he can stay healthy. He's gotten hurt twice in training camp, So I'm not sure. But I do think if he stays healthy, we'll be good. But that's a big if.
Would you rather have Slay and Gardner Johnson, or would you rather have Milton and Josh? If you had to keep 2 tandems, if you had to keep a tandem together, Xander, would you rather have Slay and Gardner Johnson, or would you rather have Milton Williams and Josh Sweat?
Slay over who?
No, Slay or Gardner Johnson.
Slay or Gardner Johnson.
Or would you rather have Milton and Josh?
Okay, so you're saying
haven't been brought back.
I can bring a tandem back.
Yeah.
Well, all right, let's walk through both of these. If you brought back a Milton and Sweat, now you got Sweat as your top guy, Nolan as your 2, and Jalix as your 3. That's ideally where you want those guys. Nolan is great. I don't think he's ready to be a 1 yet. Now, he might be, but he hasn't quite proven it yet. He's only played 9 games. Jalix is a guy that we all are really high on, but coming into the year, I think we'd all feel better if he was an emerging 3 than a 2. That sounds really nice at the edge. And then you go over to the tackle spot, and you got Davis, Carter, Milton, and a Jomo. That's a deadly. Now, you could almost say with that front, who cares about the secondary, man? The defense is going to get enough pressure to knock quarterbacks off their game.
Or maybe they could have split it up and went Sweat and Slay. Okay? And had Slay and Sweat brought back because
Slay makes more sense to me, even though it's a tough thing to recover from. Because he was 36 or whatever. Like, it makes more sense to move on.
Yeah, but doesn't Slay then give you a chance to work Keeley into a position, whether or not you know that?
Dude, Keeley was never winning it. It doesn't matter. How many more years are you going to give Ringo?
I'm not.
He's year 3, dude. What are you going to give him until year 16?
Right.
I mean, come on, man. You get on the field or don't. Ringo's done.
This guy's on a 6-year GI Bill.
Yeah, it's like, dude, come on, man. It's not about Ringo anymore. You're talking about a Dory Jackson becoming Isaiah Rodgers with Slay instead of Ringo getting another year.
You think they could cut him?
Who? Ringo? They're not gonna, but they could.
They're not giving him any more reps. I mean, I don't know about
Yeah, but he's good at special teamer. He's a gunner. We drafted a gunner in the 4th round. Congratulations.
4th round special teams, that's not terrible.
He's a gunner, though.
Gunner. Okay. And so Gunner was going to replace a 4-time Pro Bowler. I got it. All right.
Freaking bumper. Rigo's not done. What's done is that hairline, Xander.
Oh, man.
Pup.
Oh,
Don't get mad at me because Ringo hasn't had a good camp, my friend.
So John thinks Campbell's starting, huh?
Well, I think he thinks he's coming like a freight train, and I think he's right about that. You don't keep a 5th rounder on the field when you got a 1st rounder, running like a hyena behind you, man. You just don't. All right. When that guy is ready and Vic says he's ready, that guy is on the Trotter could be having a great year. He's out.
It's not good enough.
No, well, I think the upside of Campbell's too big.
Enough. This kid gives you
I don't like phrasing it like that because I don't want to shit on Trotter. I think he's good enough. I think Campbell's upside is rare. I do. I think he's a 1st round talent. I mean, that's a rare player. We've talked about the difference between a third team and a 1st team player in the NFL. It's drastic. Campbell has the opportunity to be a great player on a 1st team. Trotter doesn't really have that upside. He has the ability, I think, to be a steady player, but Campbell's got too much of an upside that once he gets ready to go, they're putting him on the field.
Well, let me show you how coaches do this. He's a liability in coverage. He's not good enough. That doesn't mean he's not good enough to make the team. He's just not good enough to be a starter, Trotter.
Would you do this trade? Dotson for Isaiah Rodgers? I would do that tomorrow. Kenzo, I'll accept that deal right now.
Yeah, I would.
I mean, look, I know people are excited about Dotson, but really?
At $7 million?
Does nobody think that Mechie or Cooper or Anias or any of these guys can play the role? I mean, guys, John Dotson had 240 yards last year.
I know.
I mean, I'm not replacing 850 yards.
35
I would make that trade right now, and you'd have a cornerback.
What did he have? 19 catches?
Now, I don't think the Vikings would take it, but maybe they would because they need a receiver.
I don't know if Howie would take it because the guy's now signed a 7-year or he's now signed a $7 million a year deal. Howie didn't want to pay him the money. He could have kept him.
I would have paid it. I feel like I don't know. Sometimes the NFL money makes sense where you're like, all right, he walked away from $28 million large for Milton Williams. It's like 6 for Becton, 7 for Isaiah. Like, I feel like I would have paid those guys.
Yeah.
Even if you just did 1-year deals and you could get out of it because you knew you were paying Carter and stuff.
Why so much movement?
What do you mean movement?
Why so much offseason movement where exiting guys?
That offseason movement. Come on.
Yeah, but you didn't bring anybody in to cover them.
Well, they drafted. Dude, this is one of the problems of having such good draft picks. Like, dude, they can't sign anybody on free agency. They got 14 draft picks to pay. And they're all performing. You got Moro Ajomo, a 7th rounder, who's going to make $20 million plus.
So one of those players that you have covered, you believe that can really kind of hang in there on the Milton Williams exit, which I agree with it. The other players are nowhere to be. I don't disagree, but I think the how good the draft picks are is what's complicated the roster construction, because you're paying Carter, you're paying Quinion and Coop, you're paying all these guys that are coming up. And it's forced you to say, oh, shit, I better put some cash away, especially, by the way, if we want to structure the deals like we have with all of our other guys, where we go cash intensive up front. We spread out the dead cap years to lower the cap hits on a yearly basis. And that requires, look, there's one of the reasons that the beat reporters always say Jeffrey Lurie deserves a lot of credit for the contracts because he's willing to pay the cash. But the cash has got to be in the till, And they've spent the most cash in the NFL in the last decade by far. By far, they've spent the most cash on contracts. So they're preparing to pay even more. They're going to be the top team in the next 10 years too. So they kind of have to prepare for that, and they're not able to go out and say, "Oh, Isaiah, boom, 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 sign him," even when they have cap space. That's where I think some fans don't go. Hey, well, boy, they have cap space. Why don't they sign him? I think they're trying to hold on to some of that cash. Definitely they are.
Yeah.
Who do you have more question marks going into this year? Nolan Smith or Jalen Hunt?
Jalen Hunt. Nolan Smith has at least proved it a little bit more than that, but he's also a higher upside player. I mean, for a first round draft pick, obviously, a guy that has serious pedigree. I think Nolan Smith has less to prove. Jalix, I think, is a great upside. I actually think Jalix is way ahead of schedule. I think people forget that most of the time.
Never in a million years. I thought he was a 3-year deal.
Wait, hear me out though. Most of the time, when you spend a 3rd-round pick on a developmental upside player, you don't come into year 2 with them expecting them to man an entire position, especially in a position as important
and to replace Sweat.
Right. So we're already asking a lot of Jalix Hunt. I would say that we've already probably, put a little bit, maybe too much unfairly on him. I'd like to come into this. That's why I said to you about Sweat. It'd be great to have him in the 3 because you can watch that player develop and allow for some growing pains, and it won't hurt you. Now he's the starting guy. Any growing pains at all for Jalix Hunt, which I think are inevitably coming, you're going to feel those a little bit more.
Boy, I'll tell you something about Nolan Smith, though. Give that guy 8 games. Eagle fans have this guy, first team fucking Hall of Fame. They got him fucking with his name in the upper banner. They got him up there with his number retired. Holy shit, man. I tell you, for a guy who's banged up all the time, and for the defensive coach calling him I won't use my word swim, but saying this all the time. He's an undersized. Here, I'll use better language because Xander doesn't like players not good enough. So I'll use this. For a guy who's questionable in size, okay, I mean, I'm concerned about his size. I am. I'm concerned
on me.
What?
Don't go PC on me.
No. All I'm saying is I think the guy's an undersized dude, and I don't know if he's going to get through 17 games. That's my issue with him. And with Hunt, you're right. Hunt is this. Hunt is a guy who's got his head on a swivel right now. You know what that means? He doesn't even know what he's fucking doing yet. This guy was at Colgate. This guy was at some religious church. He was like a monk in Houston. And was it Houston Christian something? He was a monk. And now he's going to play defensive end for the Eagles. And I'm expecting him to go out and fill the gap of Josh Sweat.
Hey, he's in good shape.
Senor Jalix Hunt, do me a favor, man. Get out there.
This is where you take it too far. Look, I think the kid's going to be really good. I just think we're asking a lot of him in year 2. That's the discrepancy. How wide is that gap, and how close are we to bridging it? If we bridge it and he's there and he's ready to be a contributor immediately, then then I think we're actually in better shape, or we're in better shape than we're thinking. But we'll see. We'll see.
I think the kid. Listen, I think the guy has a chance to be a better ball player than Nolan Smith because he's bigger. I think he.
Well, I don't think he actually does. I think what he does.
I think he could do more than him.
Well, and he's probably
as a former DB.
Look, the biggest question on Nolan is obvious. The guy's been hurt every year. That's the question.
Yeah.
Can he stay healthy or can he not? I think if he can stay healthy, then you have a good player. But that's a big if. That's a big if. And Jalix has been more steady Eddie than that. So
look at this right here from old Big Joe Krause. Big thanks to Merrill. Big Sil's another indication of your great success in the market. You now own the market. Thank you very much, Big Joe. I appreciate it. What do you make of the Eagles in the WIP trying to stop the machine known as the National Football Show in JAKIB Sports?
Well, I think it's a merit badge, but I don't put stock in it because this is why. I can't let that dictate our success. So I'm not going to sit here and play the victim. I'm not going to sit here and whine about it. They can make their decision. Go ahead. Do whatever the fuck you want. I don't really care. I'm focused on my business, on our business, on your show, on what we're building. I don't care. If they make that prerogative, that's fine. I'm not going to sit here and cry about it. I'm not going to sit here and whine about it. I'm not going to sit here and make anything about it. All right? Me and you got to keep doing what we're doing to try and build what we're building. And I think it sucks because I think what you said is the more important part of it, where they kind of take it to – they kind of like – I know they think they're spiting us and you or whatever they think. I'm not even sure. But, it's the fans. I mean, WIP would have never gotten that moment from Merrill with those cleats. We would have never known that story. And people can say that we would, but we wouldn't. This is a different medium and a different platform and a different opportunity. They don't give Merrill those opportunities. So I view it as, instead of holding a grudge on everything and being so concerned with anybody who doesn't agree with you, why not let the information flow freely, and the truth will always surface to the top? And a perfect example, and I'm going to bash you for a second. You shit on the team last year and said they're not going to go and win it. You talked, you said your spiel, they proved you wrong, and the narrative corrected itself, right? Like,
Correct.
that's what I don't understand. I just don't think like that. Like, I don't care for everybody to agree with me or whatever, but hey, listen, it is what it is.
All I know is like,
I do think it's a merit badge because if it didn't matter, then they probably wouldn't say anything.
the only thing, like I said, that really sucks is what you said, is that, Merrill shared a moment with the Eagle fans.
Yeah, it was cool, man. Dude, that was cool for me. I was sitting there watching it like enthralled,
I mean, did you see me? I was like a kid. All of a sudden, Jalen Hurts, and I think it's because it was like a viral moment that they missed out on because you know why? You made a perfect comment there on it. I'll end it here. You made a perfect comment that those guys aren't going to ask questions of Merrill Reese. Hey, guess what, Dan, what I got? And I'm like, what? And then he showed it. I didn't ask him to do it. Merrill did it.
Yeah.
You know why? Because Merrill wanted to share it with the fans.
Yeah, I agree.
So, all right. Let me go over here now. Thank you, by the way, Big Joe Krause. I appreciate that. I'm going to go into the East for a second with you. All right? The New York Giants will be what?
We are so clear out in first in the East. The Commanders are falling apart at the seams.
I know, man. I know, but not your defense. But go ahead.
What do you mean? We just got done talking about all the concerns on the defense. What are you not putting words in my mouth?
You're not. No, but no. You said
wait a second. Are you telling me? Wait a second.
The Commanders are falling apart.
If AJ Brown
pieces at 5.
No. Bullshit. If
You
AJ Brown showed up to camp, wanted a new contract, he never got it, and then they were talking at the end of training camp about trading AJ, you would be roasting this football team every day, and I would have nothing to say back to you. The Commanders have a quarterback coming into year 2 where he overachieved in year 1, and you're telling me they won't get a contract done
with that from?
With his top wideout?
Where did you get that from? He overachieved.
He definitely They would tell
how do you know he overachieved?
I don't say that as a knock on the player, Sills. You don't expect any first-year player to go to the NFC Championship game. He had a massive year.
Okay, so
a good GM would say, "Let me build on this, not let me take away Terry McLaurin."
I think he carried that football team on his back with no one.
That's what I'm saying.
That's not overachieving. That's living up to your talent.
Take it personal.
No, that's living up to your talent. That's not overachieving. That football team overachieved.
Dude, anytime a rookie goes to the NFC Championship game and leads exactly. It's an overachievement.
How do you know that's overachieving until he plays out the 2025 year?
Dude, I don't care if you're the first overall pick, man.
How do you know
the NFC Championship game in year 1?
You're making that comment on August 21st before he even plays a game that he won't do it again. How do you know that?
I didn't say that.
What did you say? You just said he overachieved.
I said his team is dumb because they can't get a contract done with a wide receiver. When he just proved to you he'll lead you to the NFC title game with a bad team.
How do you know
contract done?
How do you know he doesn't do it again?
He might do it again. Okay. How much? Okay, how much harder do they make it by getting rid of Terry McLaurin?
They're not getting rid of Terry McLaurin.
Okay, so get the fucking deal done is what I'm saying. I'm not criticizing your boy, your new princess, Jaden Daniels.
Get this. Is he
Holy shit, you're an emotional.
Is he in camp? Is he practicing? Absolutely. He's getting ready for the opener.
Just started practicing, and now they're talking about trading him.
Yeah. No, who's talking?
Don't type it in.
The internet?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. The Big Sills internet. I got it. So I know you want
you are so emotional about Jaden.
I know you want to piss all over.
It had an amazing year.
Listen, I know you want to piss all over.
And if I was a Commander, or if I was Adam Peters, I would say this kid is a stud. And I would be adding people all over that team.
With this, because this is going to make my point.
Wait a second. Instead,
like you did a year ago. I was this close to winning the East, and get this with
they've replaced Jonathan Allen with Javon Kinlaw.
I will tell. By the way, you replaced Darius Slay with Keely Ringo.
Yeah, we won the Super Bowl.
Okay,
I'm talking about the Commanders right now.
I'm talking about a team with the NFC title game.
Listen to me, Sileo
Johnson, with a guy who was in Texas and in Austin a year ago, who gets hurt in helmets and shorts. Okay, so wait. This is the storyline between these two teams.
You got such a big head.
The old guy, hang on. The old guys are either going to do it or not. And then in Philadelphia, either the young guys are going to do it or not. That's the story with those two teams. Plain and simple. Either the young guys in Philly are going to step up and play, or the old guys are going to, both may end up doing it. Both may fail. I don't know yet. I'm just saying, when someone goes, look at the old guys in Washington. Yeah, look at the nobodies on the Eagle defense in the secondary.
Yeah,
Okay.
Dude, you're looking at it. They're not
What
the
do you mean
same
I'm looking at
starting.
it?
No, they're not at the same position. Hear me out. Please let me fucking speak. Please. Jaden Daniels had an incredible year last year. If you're Adam Peters and you come into the offseason, you have the second or third most cap space in football. You have a quarterback who is performing like a top 5 quarterback on a rookie contract for 3 more years at least, probably 4. You really think he made all the right moves with that team in that position to go into year 2 with Jaden Daniels? $95 million in cap space?
Hold on. Considering that what they inherited and the mess that Adam Peters inherited, yes, I do, because what they're trying to do is they're trying to accumulate draft picks and space for them to be able to build up their roster. Remember, this is 25 years of Daniel Snyder.
Right. If your take is that they had to clean up some of the trash, then okay, that's fine. But I don't think they've. If I were Jaden Daniels, I would say
I don't think the Terry McLaurin thing's being handled great either.
I don't. And I would, if I were Jaden Daniels, I would say, dude, I brought this shitty organization to the NFC title game. You have the most cap space in football, and you don't get me a little bit more. Meanwhile, the Eagles have been Saquon Barkley, A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Dallas Goedert, Lane Johnson, Jordan Mailata, Cam Jurgens, Landon Dickerson. And they're like, he'd be like, yo, dude, if you gave me half of that, we'd win.
I want to give you and put something in your ear here that Armando Salguero told me last night. Do you think that Jaden Daniels needs a possession wide receiver or a deep threat type wide receiver or a Jamar Chase type guy like Tyreek Hill?
Well, this is what I don't like.
The Miami Dolphins want to deal him. So if they're in conversation, they want to deal Tyreek Hill to Dolphins because of that whole thing that went on down there last year. And get this, Chris Greer hasn't won a playoff game in 10 years. Do you know that? He's been the GM of that team for 10 years. They haven't won. Do you think that Jaden Daniels, it makes sense. Do you think he needs a possession wideout? Or do you think he needs a big play wide receiver type, Jamar Chase, a Tyreek Hill type guy, a Justin Jefferson type player? Because, again, to me, I think A.J. Brown and Jalen fit perfect. I think that when you see Jefferson, and, I don't even know what they have in Minnesota, but to me, I think quarterbacks have to match up. I think Chase and Joe Burrow match up great. Okay, so what type of wideout do you think Washington's looking at? This got to be a Cliff Kingsbury thing where Kingsbury's going like this. We don't need a possession wideout. We need a big play wideout. You see where I think where they are? That's what I'm being told a little bit. That's conversation is, do I want a guy who's going to be a possession dude? Or do I want to see A.J. Brown's not a possession receiver, bro. He's a big play guy dressed in a possession body.
See, that's what it's tough to put AJ in this comment because I actually think AJ could be both, and I kind of look at McLaurin. I kind of look at McLaurin similar. Like, what would you classify McLaurin as? He can take the top off; it's not his specialty. I kind of think he's more of a possession guy, but maybe that's the problem.
It is because get this. I think they want to play in space in Washington because the quarterback plays in space.
Right. That's why
that means to me you got possession receivers. Exactly. I want a guy who's going to be able to.
Don't you think Terry's kind of a possession receiver, though?
He is. I think he's a possession wideout. I think he's more in that.
I think it's a good fit.
Yeah, but they want to spread the ball out. They want.
This is also why I didn't like the Debo move. I know they got better from what they were last year.
But Debo plays in space.
Debo plays in space, but you're getting redundancy. Imagine if you had Terry to play in space and be your possession wideout, and then a guy, I'm not saying Tyreek, but a guy like Tyreek who could take the top off and spread the field out. Now you got Debo who plays a lot behind the line of scrimmage, who makes a lot of his plays, on bubble screens, on jet sweeps, on things that are, a couple yard passes. He doesn't go deep that often. That's not the kind of player he is.
This is why in Cincinnati they got both. They've got a possession wideout in T, and they've got a space wideout in Chase. And Burrow's a pocket guy. Remember, Daniels is not a pocket guy. Daniels runs around more and plays in space more because of his versatility. So my question is, I think they're questioning that. And that's why they haven't rushed. I mean, you know what a contract's going to look like if you pay that guy and put him in the room with everyone else? You're talking about paying. And I think Terry's a great football player, but I don't know if he's a good guy that fits in what they're going to do there with Cliff Kingsbury. I think it's a fit conversation.
Well, listen, okay. If that's your issue, you got it, and you don't have a better alternative right now. You got a rare opportunity. This is what I think Adam Peters is missing greatly, that Howie didn't miss. When he identified Jalen was good or he liked him, Howie went crazy. He drafted Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown, traded for him the next year. He brought in he loaded up. He signed Saquon Barkley after an MVP level season because he knew this is a rare opportunity. If I'm Jaden Daniels, now I understand what you're saying. Well, hey, maybe McLaurin's not the fit, but they haven't showed me that they have a better alternative.
No, I haven't seen. That's why I'm saying that there's a receiver that can maybe make a difference in that whole equation because, hey, I'll tell you what. Do you think that Terry McLaurin would fit better in Miami with Tua? And that you would have a guy, Jalen Waddle is a guy that can play in space.
Yeah.
And this guy's a possession guy. And you would have
I don't know.
You would have Terry McLaurin.
Guys would fit with Daniels enough. I think what's most important is to make sure you have a good competent group with them right now. And Terry is a competent player. So you're going to let him out the door. And hey, maybe they do have a situation, but you're now in August 21st. We're 2 weeks away. By the way, exactly 2 weeks from the Eagles' first game. It's Thursday night, so it'll be 2 weeks from today.
2 weeks from tonight, you drop the banner.
Exactly. 2 weeks from tonight, we drop the banner. And now you're going to make that move. Again, I don't think the Commanders have done everything they could have done this offseason with a rookie quarterback who performed as good as he did last year. If I had $95 million or $100 million, and I think the best point you gave me was maybe they're trying to clean up still some of the mess.
They are.
And that's fair. That's fair to point out. But if I were a fan of that team, I would say, boy, we could have went all in this year because Jaden Daniels led that team to the NFC title game. And the best we could do for him was a contract dispute with Terry McLaurin and Deebo Samuel. I would have liked to see a little bit more. That's all. And I think they did good things on the O-line, but we'll see what ends up happening with them.
Let's get to some of the supers before we go to Jason Cole here, man.
Let me see what we got.
Look forward to talking.
Cody says Z struck a nerve with Daniels. I don't think so. Cody says Z said it once. I'll say it again. Hunt's our best defensive end. Well, he's played 200 snaps, dude.
Yeah.
That's not a lot of NFL snaps. Now, he very well might be one day, but that's a big projection. Dirty D, member for 12 months. Thank you, man. Well, Sills, I imagine they want offensive minds for head coaches because then you don't have to worry about offensive coordinator turnover.
They want head football coaches to be play callers, correct? Because
but we hired an offensive mind coach who's turned into a CEO coach, and we still have offensive coordinator turnover. If you're a good offensive,
yeah, but you're not going to have a turnover in Los Angeles because that guy's going to be the guy there. And you're not going to have that.
I think he's more the exception than the rule. Like I would say generally, if you're a really good offense and you perform at a high level in the NFL, you're probably going to lose turnover or coordinators. And then conversely, if you have a great roster and you're not that good, then the coordinator's going to get fired.
Absolutely. But wouldn't you agree that you don't think there's a coincidence that in Kansas City and in Los Angeles and in San Francisco, all these guys are play calling head football coaches, and they're pretty much in the room to be in the conversation for potentially getting to a title game. Yeah, I mean, I think there's something into that. And plus you got LaFleur up in Green Bay. He's a head coach play calling guy. I think you get less turnover with that. Now, it's hard to find that guy, like you said.
Yeah, no, I agree. We got two more. Kyle says, Sills, I blame Dennis Allen for not developing Zach Bond.
Hey, dude, you got to also go with Mickey Loomis, the general manager of the New Orleans Saints, for not finding him, too.
Mind, too. That's why, I don't know. I mean, maybe as a head coach, but Dennis Allen was a decent coordinator. Brian Pump says, why did Hunt get bunched? These Hunt fans better explain where his 12 sacks is coming from. I think that's it.
I think he's going to be a good football player. I really do.
I do too, but 12 sacks this year is a big ask, my friend.
That's a big ask for.
All right, Phil. Great show, man. I'll catch you tomorrow.
Don't forget, Danner, you don't have a night show? You're back
no night show tonight. Those are wrapped up. Yep.
Gotcha. I appreciate you so much, brother. Thank you so much. Tell your dad all good, man. And we appreciate it. Guys, do me a favor. Please hit that like button. Absolutely sensational stuff. I'm going to get to all this here. Before I get to Jason Cole, you know what's funny? This guy here, Anthony Richardson, and everybody's banging away on Anthony Richardson. I hear his agent talking about, well, we're going to have a conversation about the future. Hoss, you just got beat out by Dimes Jones, who was cut and released in New York. You have no future in Indianapolis. But where's Chris Greer in this? Chris Greer's the guy that evaluated a 51% quarterback at Florida and thought he was going to go to the NFL and improve his accuracy. How's that? That guy was not very good. He was a wildcat quarterback at Florida at best. We said that on draft day. That's a wildcat quarterback.
Yeah, so sorry to interrupt you. We can't see you right now. What is going on here?
Really?
All right, now you're back. Wait a second.
Are we good?
1 second. All right, now you're good. I don't know what happened there. Sorry, brother. You were a black screen. Nobody could see you.
Could you hear me at least?
You could hear you. We couldn't
All
see
right.
you. You got to see the great Big Sills.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, Big Z. All right, without further ado, we got a lot to hit on then. Let's hit on many of these topics, especially here with Terry McLaurin here. Let's get to our friend Jason Cole, Pro Football Hall of Fame voter. We will talk with him right now and get his takeaway. How you doing there, brother?
I am fantastic. How are you? It's Chris Ballard, not Chris Greer.
Chris Ballard, that's right. Chris Greer's down in Miami.
Right. He has his own problems.
You want to hear something that Armando told me? That guy hasn't had a playoff win in 10 years.
Sounds correct, yes.
Is that the owner?
Yeah, that's the owner. Trying to maintain some consistency, trying to build something that they hadn't had before. It's not working.
Hey, Jace, that guy lives in New Jersey, Stephen Ross. He really doesn't. He really doesn't have a pulse on him. Let me get to you on the McLaurin thing. Sandra and I have gone back and forth on this. What's going on? If you're trying to build a football team around a guy who took a playoff team or a team to a playoffs and to an NFC championship, it's been a train wreck after the Daniel Snyder stuff for over 25 years. What's the holdup going on with Terry McLaurin in Washington?
I have no idea. I don't understand it. Other than you don't want to set precedent, but the issue is he's worth setting precedent for, and usually when a team is trying to win and gets that close and a player holds out, that's the time when a player wants to hold out. So the timing is good for McLaurin to do this. I do understand he's classically not your typical number one receiver. He's not a big guy. He's not super fast, but he's effective, and they need him. So what's your choice really here? You got to pay him. Like it's sort of like when Indianapolis went from making Reggie Wayne their number one guy. Reggie Wayne is a borderline Hall of Fame player. So that's not, I'm not trying to disparage him, but he's not your classic number one receiver. And so you're hesitant to pay him number one money. Well, get over it because you got to win.
Have you seen this Cowboys thing? America's team.
I heard it's good. But
it's phenomenal. It's phenomenal. But here's my problem. And you tell me if you recognize this, Jason, at the end with Tom Landry, when Landry was the head football coach. You tell me if you think this is – I was there. I was in the building.
Mm-hmm.
Skip Bayless comes out and he goes, Tom started forgetting names of players. This is not true. You know what the problem was? The problem was he kept guys like Danny White. He kept guys like Randy White. He kept all the guys too long. His problem was he kept all the old guys.
Yeah.
That is why the franchise ran out of gas and they had no talent. It wasn't because he wasn't forgetting. And I took offense to that because Tom Landry is one of the greatest guys I've ever been around and one of the most important people in NFL history. And it's like people with Jerry trying to change the narrative. If Jerry was such a good general manager, why hasn't he duplicated what he did in the first 5 years of owning the team over the last 30 years?
Who said he was a good general manager?
Well, they're making it seem like he made the Herschel Walker trade. He's the guy that made the Haley trade.
Well, yeah, but okay. Let's start with they're making it. Well, that's where they're wrong. They're not make. He wasn't the general manager. Jimmy ran the personnel. We all know it. Anybody who follows football understands that was Jimmy. It was Jimmy's team. It was Jimmy's team all the way through the Barry Switzer year, and even for a few years after that, even as they got old. The Tom Landry stuff, Skip Bayless being wrong about something. Oh wow, that's a shocker. Yeah, I mean, the problem that the Cowboys ran into is everybody started getting the same information on players that they did. And so the edge that they used to have back in the early 70s and through most of the 70s, where they got better information than everybody else, because what would they do? They would bring all the coaches into Dallas to play golf. All the college coaches would come into Dallas, play golf, drink a lot for like 3 or 4 days. They get them all laid, like crazy. And then they would give them all the information on all the players. And that's what Gil Brandt was there to do. It wasn't this computerization thing. It was, they had better information. They knew the players better than everybody else. Well, once you had all the scouting combine and people doing the same things to get information, and you got rid of the Cowboys' advantage, this is, they were even like everybody else, and then they got old.
The Cowboys were having their own coaching combine every year, and that's really where the combine came from with the players. They put the players at the combines. The coach, you're dead on, because Gil told me they would bring them all into Dallas every year. All the coaches, especially from the Southwest Conference, where a lot of the talent was coming from.
Bear Bryant, like, is Bear Bryant, what was it, bourbon and a blonde or something like that?
Right.
I mean, like, come on, like that's just what they did. And you could do it. That was the Wild West of the NFL right back then. The Raiders had their same ways of getting information. They were better at it than everybody else, which is why they were great at that time. The Steelers had, great scouting between Dick Haley and Bill Nunn. And, they had one of the greatest drafts of all time, and they lived on that for a whole decade, right? And they had Chuck Noll too, right? So, like, each team had its ability. And the Cowboys, again, everything evened out for the Cowboys, and the league became more competitive. And you didn't have just 3 or 4 teams dominating the way that you did back then. You don't have it anymore. It's much more even, which is why I always go back to the Patriots over that 20-year period of time. It's such an amazing accomplishment, because that's not supposed to happen, but it's an indication of how great the quarterback was and the coach.
The Cowboys 2025 season will be what, in your opinion?
Cowboys?
Yeah.
Why is it going to be any different than anything else?
I don't believe it either. I think there's 7
So they're somewhere between, like, if things break right, can they win 10 games? Of course they can. If things break wrong, are they 6 or 7 win team? Yes, they're somewhere in that range. Probably that's why you would go 9. I would go 9-8, right? Because they do have players. They've got 4 or 5 players. Excuse me, that you got to account for. I mean, Pickens is a good player if depending on if he shows up or not, right? But if the season doesn't go well and Pickens doesn't get his numbers, it's going to be a headache. What's going to happen with Micah? I don't know. Who's going to run the ball for them? I just don't know what that team's going to look like. And I just think, Schottenheimer's a mediocre guy, and Dak is a mediocre quarterback. So you take a mediocre quarterback and a mediocre head coach, you get a mediocre result.
You think they're closer to disaster than playoffs?
Yeah. I mean, I will say 2 years ago, that was a really good defense.
Yeah.
When they were healthy. And so, so that there's still a lot of that left over that fell apart last year. So can they get to that? Yes, they can get to that. And so if you come back and you tell me, and at the end of the year, they went 13-4, yeah, there's the talent there. Assuming that Mike is back on the field and playing well. But this whole training camp thing with Micah is just such a huge distraction from, are you trying to win or not? Are you focused on doing everything you can to win? And this is where Jerry screws it up, because Jerry thinks that the negotiation is part of the process. Like he thinks that that's part of the game, and that's not part of the game. It's a distraction from the game. Always making your stars go through that and putting them through hell makes them resent you, not makes them want to, put out for you more.
It's funny you should say that, because in that documentary, check this out. So he said he gets back to his house and he goes to sleep, and his wife's laying in bed and she's like this. She's looking at the ceiling. She's got her eyes open. She's not saying anything.
He doesn't sleep. When was the last time he slept in the same
Listen
bed
what
with his wife?
listen what he said, though. He goes like this. He goes, my wife didn't say anything. I looked over at it, goes, what's wrong? He goes, this is the day after they fired Jimmy, the day they fired Jimmy. She goes, you just can't let it alone, can you? You just can't leave it alone. I mean, you just won back-to-back Super Bowls, and you just can't let it alone. And I thought for a fact, if you're around him, that's how he lives, man. He lives like that. He just can't leave well enough alone.
And it's hard to argue because it's worked for him. Okay, in the purest sense of what he values most, which is the money, it's worked. They're worth, what are they worth? $12 billion?
billion.
Right. And he took what was a $125 million asset and turned it into, $13 billion. Salute. Congratulations. More power to you, right? You increase something by 100-fold value, right? But is the point to make a big pile of money, or is the point to win championships? And at a certain point, you want to do a little bit of both, but your legacy is built on championships. Nobody remembers how much money you made at the end.
The Rams, are you concerned with Stafford's back? Do you think again that this is again Father Time? Is undefeated unless it's Tom Brady. I mean, how do you look at that Ram team? I mean, the Rams are one of the only teams that probably could be in that conversation with the Eagles right now in the NFC. How do you see that thing playing out?
Well, I mean, the 49ers healthy are in there, but they're not healthy. And the Rams are not in the same conversation from an overall roster. What evens things out is that Stafford is so good. So, yes, we know Father Time's undefeated. Or, we can just say that. So, yes, I'm concerned about his back. I think they're treating him like a China doll, which they should do. That's why, like, the further and further we get into the 17-game season, and it's going to be even more when we get to 18 games, less and less does training camp and preseason matter. Because everybody's looking at it as the first 2 or 3 games of the season are when you really you find out if your team is ready to play, and you get your guys ready to play, and you really start hitting. Nobody does Oklahoma drills the way that they used to do the Oklahoma drills. So you wait until the regular season because you can't afford to lose somebody. So I have a hard time making any conclusions anymore about anybody other than, okay, like Jackson Dart, it looks good. But every young quarterback looks good this time of the year because they're not playing against defenses that can really play. And, with an Anthony Richardson guy, I know we're getting off the original point, which is Stafford. Anthony Richardson has not progressed at all as passer, which doesn't surprise me in the least bit.
No.
Right? Based on how many passes he threw in college and how many passes he's thrown so far as a pro. He just hasn't had an opportunity to learn how to play the position. There's nothing wrong with the kid. Kid's a good kid. And he's a phenomenal athlete, but he's thrown a little more than 700 passes in between his entire college career and first 2 years.
He's a better Trey Lance.
Yeah, well, he's exactly Trey Lance. I mean, this is the proof of why you have to have a certain number of throws generally in college, and he had less than 400. Lance had less than 300. Anyways, to bring the point back to Stafford, I don't get worried because a guy hasn't played in preseason. I'm just not worried about a guy like this who hasn't played. I'm not worried about Aaron Rodgers. not having played. It's not optimal. It's not what we're used to. It's not what I'm conditioned to seeing after 30 plus years of doing this. But you have to change the way that you view the game because teams are changing the way that they handle training camp. They're just not willing to put guys on the line and see if, and take any chances, especially old guys. So let's see what happens in regular season.
Do you believe what Urban Meyer says that the National Football League should suspend Jim Harbaugh for what he did at Michigan?
I think that Urban Meyer should shut his mouth and never speak again. I think that Urban Meyer is the biggest slime ball to ever coach in the history of this game, and he should just be quiet and never be allowed to speak about anybody else's indiscretions. He has no room to judge anyone else. He is a complete and total scumbag.
Man, I could not have said it any better. And Florida's going to honor him at one of the home games this year because of those 2 national championships.
And there are so many people at the University of Florida who are left over from when he was there who will turn their back and vomit because they hate him.
They hate him, man. I mean, this guy had 35 arrests in 6 years he was in Gainesville.
I will say this: they appreciate the fact that they won championships, and there's a legacy there. There is something, there's something important that the team did accomplish, that did have an impact on the university, that raised its level to a higher standard as a public university. It was all part of a big plan by Bernie Matchin that came true. But the price that they had to pay to get there, okay, was indescribably high. And that man trying to tout himself as something noble after everything that he did at that school, it just makes you sick.
Wasn't he exposed? Wasn't he exposed in the NFL? Didn't the NFL kind of expose him?
Well, it just look, it wasn't. He didn't want to coach in the NFL. He took the job because the money was really great.
Yeah.
I don't blame him for that. Is Steve Spurrier a terrible coach because he was bad with the Washington, Commanders? Or no, he was a great college coach. Urban Meyer was a great college coach because he knew how to recruit and he ran a system that worked very well at the college level. So he was great in his area of expertise. He didn't understand the NFL game.
I'm with you, man. I can't stand that man. Finally here, Jace, do you think Tua, you said something to me and it's resonated with me. All right, Sales, you want to move off of Tua for who? Okay, where are you going here? But Jason, can you build a team and a roster around someone you can't count on with his health? Can you do that and think that?
Come on, you know the answer to that question. You know the answer is no. And this is why. Look, you had to take the chance that he would stay healthy, right? That's why I had to give him the one contract. You drafted him, you took some chance, and then you had to give him the one contract to see could we keep him together. So if you can keep them together, he makes you a competitive team, not a championship team, but a competitive team, right? That can get out there and win 9, 10, maybe 11 games if things go right. Maybe even 12 if it really, really rolls right. But more often than not, he's going to miss 4 or 5 games during the season, and so he's not going to get the next contract. You'll get through this season. If it goes poorly, then you tear the whole thing down to the studs and restart. If it works and you make the playoffs and something really great happens, okay, then you can bring it back and you run it back again next year. Anything in between, I think they're tearing it down. I think that's just the way, they have a standard of they better get deep into the playoffs to prove that they want to bring this back again and run it back with this group. Anything short of that, I think they need to move on, and that includes the GM, the coach, the quarterback. The big 3 have to all go.
Finally, I want to make a pitch to you. Okay, Jason, I want to make a pitch to you.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay? On a player for the Hall of Fame.
Sure. We haven't talked about Matt Schaub and his idea for being NFL PA executive director. We should.
Hold on for a second. I'm going to write that down. Hold on. I'm going to write that down. Okay, hang on.
Okay, let's go. Sure.
All right. But I want to make a pitch for you.
Okay.
Explain to me why a 7-time Pro Bowler, 2-time AFC Defensive Player of the Year, guy, multiple positions, has made the All-Pro team. And you talk about, again, playing on the other side, I get it, of Bruce Smith. Went to 5 Super Bowls and lost them. Understood. That's more of a team accomplishment and a team failure.
But you make 5, and that's a great thing. Yeah.
Okay. How is a person who was the 2-time AFC Defensive Player of the Year on that team with Bruce Smith and Darryl Talley, how is that guy never even really, outside of maybe 3 times? I had him on my morning show, and
we're talking Cornelius Bennett.
Cornelius Bennett, Biscuit. Yeah, I and he's a personal friend of mine. And I get Jason Cole on every week. And
I will say this: nobody from the Bills has ever really spoken up on Cornelius's behalf.
He's a 7-time Pro Bowler.
I understand that. I'm not.
Sam Mills is in. How's that possible?
Look, I don't understand it necessarily either, because I look at it and go, why am I not hearing more about Cornelius Bennett? But I will tell one story about Cornelius Bennett from Dan Marino. So I had this task of asking Dan Marino. It was 1995, and that was the year they broke all the records. So we had all these charts about his biggest games, and like the number charts, right? The touchdown passes, the yards, the completions, all that crap, right? And so we had to get two other lists. And can I swear on this show?
Yeah, go right ahead. Yes. Encouraged, actually, because again, at a Stanford symposium, no, but on a Miami type show, yes. Philly, yes, you can. It's open.
Philly, Miami.
Yeah, we're good.
A little bit, Florida and Philly. You get it together. Yeah, we can drop an F bomb.
Absolutely,
we can drop some F bombs. Okay, so I'm tasked with asking Marino, like, your top 10 favorite opponents and your top 10 favorite athletes. I'm going to do this backwards. So I asked him his top 10 favorite athletes. That was actually last. So, and he was in a bad mood already because he had just gotten up from a nap, and he'd been sleeping on the training room, the whole thing, right? He's just groggy, and he's just like, what the hell is this that you need to ask me?
Bitchy though, but
of course he was always bitchy, but I go, all right, so these are your top 10 favorite athletes, and I asked for 10, right? And it's me and Fudge Brown, who used to work for the Dolphins, lovely woman, working community relations, and Harvey Green was the PR guy. So I asked, Harvey Green, and so I go, all right, so top 10 favorite athletes. He goes, well, it's Bobby Clemente, Pops, Willie Stargell.
All the Pittsburgh guys.
Oh, it's all Pittsburgh guys. Pops, Willie Stargell, and Bradshaw. He's done it 3, and I'm like waiting there. I'm waiting for the next 7, and there's not coming. There's no 10.
Pretty so good there. That immo right there.
Yeah. And Harvey goes, any golfers? And he goes, golfers ain't fucking athletes. So that's number 1. So then we go. All right, I need your 10 favorite opponents, right? Once again, I asked for 10. I know he's in no mood, so I'm not arguing with the man at all, right? Because this shit doesn't matter to me. Like, it's just window dressing. It's not real. So, okay, your top 10 favorite opponents is Bruce, Raymond Claiborne, Klecko. Right. Once again, we're done at 3. And this is where Fudge comes in and goes, what about Cornelius Bennett? Fuck Cornelius Bennett. So all I have to say is, I don't know what Marino had for Cornelius Bennett, but it won at that time. It ain't no love. I can just tell you that.
You know what? It's funny you say that. He always said this to me when he closed out the interview. He goes, "Make sure you tell all the guys in Miami I had a winning record against those guys when I was up there in Buffalo." And now I know. Now that has a little more context to it, where that was big rivalry between the Bills and the Dolphins back in the day.
Right, but this is all to say there aren't a lot of guys who like Cornelius Bennett.
I wouldn't either if I had him hitting me.
Yeah, so I don't know what it is. And I know this is not a popularity contest. I mean, that's not what it's supposed to be. But Cornelius Bennett, and I've looked at the case and I go, what's going on here? Like, I asked myself, what's going on here? And nobody fights for him. Like, they fight for, why am I drawing a blank on the defensive end? Oh, Simeon Rice. People fight for Simeon Rice.
A lot of people.
A lot of people, Warren Sapp fights for him. Some other guys fight for him,
Ira
right?
Kaufman.
Yeah, you're right. And they fight enough that you have to pay attention to it.
Yeah.
Nobody fights for Cornelius Bennett.
7 Pro Bowls, 2-time AFC.
I'm telling you, you're the first. You are the first guy, and I've done this for 12 years. You're the first guy who's come to me and said, "What's going on with Cornelius Bennett?" Literally, you are the number one guy. First guy in the 12 years that I've done this to fight for Cornelius Bennett in any way, shape, or form. I don't know what it is. I can't tell. I can't tell you, but he has no advocates, and that's probably not a great argument. But I think as a result, he gets lost in the shuffle.
Because you have to have a pitch man from Buffalo, right?
Well, you do, and it doesn't exist. And there's a lot of guys from the Bills who, I mean, there's a lot of guys from that Bills team that are in the Hall of Fame. I mean, Jim Kelly's in, Bruce Smith is in,
Andre Reed,
Bruce,
Lofton,
who?
Lofton.
Yeah, Lofton, but Lofton's
Green Bay.
He most of his career is elsewhere. Yeah, right. So I mean, yeah, Marv, and so like you're sitting there going, well, that's a pretty big contingent, but
Bill Polian.
Yeah, Polian's in too, and so you sit there and you go, yeah, but is there a place for Cornelius Bennett? Yeah, but nobody fights for him.
I guarantee you. You guys will put in a person that doesn't have the resume that Bennett has.
I'm sure we already have. I mean, that's just the way but again, now, given the rules, and we talked about this a couple of times, so we don't have to go over it, again, but, given the rules, it's going to be harder and harder to get a guy like Bennett.
Do you have a problem with me posting, Jason, that you said no one's really fought for?
No, I said it.
Okay. I'm gonna after the show, because I'm going to post that, and I'm going to tag you on that too, because I don't get this. So finally, here, give me
let me just say this: at least with me.
Okay.
Okay. Right. And that I will qualify that with me. Nobody has come and said, "Hey, what about Cornelius? What about Cornelius Bennett?" And that usually happens, but I don't. I'm just one person.
I become like the Pied Piper with the players. Like Leslie O'Neal will say something to me. Hey, I see you talk to Cole and you talk to Armando every week. You talk to those 2 Hall of Fame guys. How come those guys don't come? And I go, all right. So I got a list a mile long of guys.
Of course they do, because every guy thinks he belongs in the Hall of Fame, and I don't blame him.
Ed White goes like this: I've made 8 Pro Bowls. I've been to 4 Super Bowls. I'm on the all-time team with the Vikings and the Chargers, and nobody says a word about me. And I go, look, he's an 8-time Pro Bowler, and he's not in. I'm like,
I get
now that's a veteran committees thing. I get it. That's Rick Gosselin guys. So
yeah, I mean, they changed the committee. I'm going to be on the coaches committee this year. So this is the first time I'm going to sit on a committee.
Oh, that's great! Congratulations, man.
Right. I mean, I think the coaches committee is pretty obvious. Like it's pretty obvious.
You going to put Belichick in?
Well, I mean, I vote for Bell. There's at least 3 guys on that list that belong in the Hall of Fame. Holmgren, Shanahan, and Belichick. And then I think, Coughlin deserves a really good discussion. Probably just, I would say I would lean towards voting in Coughlin, but he's going to be fourth in that line. It's going to be really, really hard to get
Do you
guys.
want to? Are you going to go more towards guys that've had to wait a little more, or are you going to look at a coach like
Best
Belichick?
guy. I'm a best guy. I'm a best guy person.
Okay,
Best
okay.
guy gets in. That's just
So the best
so,
resume in your eyes goes in.
right because
Agree.
the best guys got to get in any given year, and because it's not fair to make those guys wait when they're the best guy. And if you wait, the arguments can all of a sudden change and get really screwy, and then all of a sudden guys are waiting a really long time.
Do you know that
Maybe that's the
Coughlin has a better
temperature.
resume than Parcells?
I would believe that, yeah.
He has a better resume that the job that he did the first Jacksonville time versus what Bill did at New York and with down in Miami. I mean, I don't know.
I mean, listen, I don't want to besmirch Bill because Bill did a great job with the Giants. He took New England to a Super Bowl.
He didn't build that Giant team though. Ray Perkins did.
No, not Ray Perkins. George Young.
Well, Ray's the one that
George-
hired Belichick and Parcells to be the coach on his staff.
I understand that, but George Young was the guy who got the person.
He was the GM.
Yeah.
He took over for
Right.
Robert.
And I'll just say that Bill did a really good job in New England of building that team, and Dallas of building that team,
Yeah.
and then turning things around in Miami.
Yeah.
Enough, not great. He, like it got a little worse each place he went, but Dallas, like that was a great team that he built. It really was.
And he found Romo, who was undrafted. He was a UDFA.
Yeah.
And the guy turned out to be. Hey, give me this last story here with Matt Schaub. What's he?
Well, go read. Well, how about this? Read the story. I sent it to you in a text. I sent it to you kind of late. I should have sent it to you earlier today. But Matt Schaub's running for executive director of the NFL Players Association, and he's big on the idea that. And I wrote the story with him. I helped him out, and he's very big on the idea of, hey, look, if they want to lock us out, let's go play on our own. Just like what you talked about.
Did you put that in her ear there with the lift thing? Did you do that to him?
Absolutely. Oh
my God!
I want to be fair. He and I had talked about that years ago because he had run for executive director the last time, and then they picked, they picked their two finalists. This is classic. I don't know if you've been paying attention to Pablo Torre much lately, but they find out that Lloyd Howell's basically a crook. They found that out.
You called that out.
Yeah, absolutely. He was a crook. And then David White, who was the other finalist in 2023, they just posted this past week. Oh, by the way, David White was a guy who was trying to hide a pedophilia scandal within SAG-AFTRA. He's trying to do a cover up of a pedophilia scandal in the Actors Guild.
And the PA was trying to hire this guy?
He's the current interim executive director.
We'll never get anywhere.
Like you're just you guys and here's the thing. Like,
how come this story's not being covered? So what? Wait a minute. I'm an NFL PA guy right now.
Yeah.
So, wait a minute. So we have
it's a complicated story. I'm not.
Wait, is he accused or is he?
No. He is not accused. He himself is not accused. But other people within the Screen Actors Guild were accused of pedophilia. Okay, and it came out. And when he found out it was coming out, he didn't sit there and go, you know what? We have to get to the bottom of this and fix this. This is wrong. This is bad. This is awful. He hired a law firm to sue the people who were doing the documentary to try and stifle the documentary. His answer to being faced with a scandal involving pedophilia, okay, was to try and knock it down and cover it up, not to sit there and say, as a leader should, because he wasn't the guy, he wasn't in charge when it actually happened, but he was in charge when it came out. If you're not responsible for it, all you sit there and say is, we have a problem and we have to fix it. And we will fix it now. That's what you do. That's
Yeah.
the only that is the only reaction that you should ever have to a scandal that involves children. Okay?
Yeah.
That's it. You admit it, it's wrong, and you take care of it. And you don't waste any time. You do not screw around. You don't fuck around with issues like this.
Why don't we demand his resignation?
Because most of your guys are tuned out, and to be quite honest,
You know
look,
what Saquon Barkley said of the Eagles about this kind of stuff and about what happened with the stuff with the last guys who ended up getting. He goes, I'm not really in touch with it, and I really don't keep up with it.
and that's a problem, okay? But he's got his money, so he doesn't care, right? And here's the other thing: the guys who are on the executive committee, by and large, they're players, right? Like they get elected when they're players. Sometimes that they are for the second year of it, they're not in the league anymore. Like the current president is not in the league anymore, Jalen Reeves-Maben. But yeah, it's a transient kind of thing. And these guys are not trained in how to run a union. They're football players. And so they've got other things on their mind. And they don't care to do the real diligence that is required to run a union the way that you need to run a union, okay, as an elected official. It's just not, and so your union suffers tremendously. Like their whole theory, and let me just say this, aside from the criminal activity that's gone on, which is bad enough, the other theory that has been thrown out there with the NFLPA, and this is what is we should hire people who are from a management background, who understand the owners, who know how to talk to the owners. Okay. Who cares if you know how to talk to an owner? Like, oh, this guy knows how to stand in there and really make an argument. The only argument that owners ever care about, the only thing that Roger Goodell ever cares about that will ever make him flinch, the only thing, and I know Roger, I respect Roger and the job he's done, but the only thing that they care about is leverage, and they have all of it right now, and they crush the players all the time. The only thing that you can do is try to get leverage, and it's really hard in football. It's why the NFL union is so weak, because getting leverage is really hard. But you now have a guy on the record saying, hey, there's enough rich people out there, there's enough streaming services, there are enough ways to get entertainment that we may not need the owners. If they want to lock us out, great. We'll take the opportunity and we'll recreate our league ourselves and do it ourselves. That's what Matt Schaub is talking about. And he's got an idea.
I'm going to post that story.
Well, I texted it to you. Look, you read it. We'll talk about it again.
Yeah.
Next week while we're waiting for the regular season.
I'll read through it. I'm going to post it because, your idea of going to like the Saudis or people with gigantic money like that, or a hedge fund somebody, and putting a league like that together, and you start playing NFL games or pro football games in these gigantic college stadiums in the Southeastern Conference. You play them in the middle of America. You've got facilities in this country to do it.
Yeah, you got enough studios. Now, are they perfect? They're not perfect studios for what you really need to have, but they're good enough.
Yeah.
Like they use them on Saturdays. They do plenty of games on Saturdays from all these stadiums. So you can do it. And so it's a lot of work, and it takes a lot of planning, and it takes big balls to do it. But this is the only thing that the owners will ultimately respect, because if you sit there and you say, well, we're going to play 18 games, but we need to have this, you're going to play 18 games because we say you're going to play 18 games.
Well, look at what the LIV guys have done to the PGA. They've made them change rules because they went out there and changed the game. I love that the LIV people and what they've done by going to the PGA saying, hey, look, appearance fees, we're going to pay them. You don't want to pay them? Come over here. We'll give you $100 million. The players are like this. Okay. What's the problem?
Yeah, I mean, look, some of it is that, it's distasteful because
players don't have the balls to do it, though.
Well, then they're going to be stuck getting what they get.
Like, that's right. No, Here's Jason. Here's what happened in the 87 strike. So we get down to the third game, right? We're down at the third game. All of a sudden, you know what happened? The lower end guys, as you always say, are sitting there going, we're losing a ton of money. And then all of a sudden, people like Lawrence Taylor, people like Gastineau, people like all the big name guys in Dallas, Randy White,
John Montana across
Joe Montana, all of them go, wait a minute, I'm not going to lose $700,000 a week. They jumped the line. And when they jumped the line, they broke the union. And the union has never been the same since they broke the union.
Well, the union was really great in the 90s under Gene when they got into court. And they got
the 51-49 split.
Well, sort of. But I mean, we could the numbers are boring to go through. I don't want to go through all the numbers. But the bottom line is you guys are getting less money than ever. You're playing more games than ever. It's harder than ever. It's just not a fair fight. It's not a fair fight with the owners. And the only way you have a fair fight is you get an ex-player who understands how it works and has the balls to try and get leverage. Because this strategy of, we'll hire management guys who know how to talk to the owners. Nito. So why do I give? You can tell. You know how to talk to me. You've done contracts before. Big deal.
Yeah, that'll work.
Right. Okay. Here. Why don't you read this contract that I have like 15 lawyers on my side who are all making $1,000 an hour. You read that contract, then you sign it because it's completely in my favor. Because that's the only thing that's going to happen.
Troy Vincent's a sellout.
Hey, Troy Vincent did what he had to do. They didn't make him he got a job.
Oh, okay. He got a job on the back of players that. Okay.
Whoa! Wait a second. With Troy, he ran for executive director. He didn't get elected.
Okay. Right.
He didn't have a job.
Okay.
What was he supposed to do?
Run to his dad, sit on his lap, and bow at the knees.
But what? Whoa! What was he supposed to do?
No,
just sit there and not work, and not get a job.
No. I think it's great that he's got Roger Goodell's knee pads on. I think it's wonderful. I think I would. Hey, listen.
There's a lot of former players who are working in the league office. I like Troy a lot. But if you don't get
because he's the next Dolphin. I'm telling you, he's.
No, I like Troy because he's a classy guy. I like Troy. He's a good-hearted human being. I personally really like Troy. But I can't blame anybody in the world who they get turned down for a job, and then you're going to rip them because they went to work for the NFL to get a big check from the NFL. You'd have done it in about 3 seconds. You would have said you would have gone. I'll take those knee pads. Come on, baby, right here, Raj. Raja, giving me the knee pads.
Hey,
right here. Right here, baby. Right here. I'm Big Sills. Big Sills. I'll take the knee pads. Right here. Raja, I'll take the knee pads. That's what you would have done.
Be walking around.
And you know what? Old lady Sills, she would have said, you're going to take the pads. Put on the knee pads, baby. Mrs. Sills would have told you. I know. I'm right. You know that's why you called me stupid, because I'm right. She would have made you put on those knee pads because you got to pay the bills. You got to pay for Mrs. Sills. You know that. You play this clip for Mrs. Sills. No. You do that right away.
No, because I'll be mowing the lawn tomorrow. Forget it. Hey, Jace, I'll catch you next week. I'm going to post that article too, by the way. Thank you so much, brother.
Anytime. I'll see you, dude. Be good.
You got it. Love you, Jason. Thank you very much, Jason Cole. Funny stuff, man. Absolutely. I love Jason, man. Jace tells it too like it is, doesn't he, man? I really do dig that. All right. A.J. Brown hurt again. Oh, no, he's not. That's right. Don't say anything about A.J. Brown's health. You're not allowed to talk about A.J. Brown's health. He's okay. Do you really realize how fucked up that is? How everybody in the media calls you an idiot when you say something about a guy missing the entire camp. You can't say anything. No, he'll be ready. He's fine. Nothing's wrong with him. Why did he miss all the training camp? Well, because. What, you don't want to practice anymore? No. Wow. A.J. Brown. He's okay. Sills. This is why Merrill can't come on anymore. Is because we can't have you telling the truth or asking those questions the way you do. As Xander would say. How about one of the lines Xander said today? Hey, I don't like the way you phrased it. Really? You guy's not good enough. I don't like that. Yeah, okay. Maybe it is the way that I say things. Okay. Yeah, I don't have really much of a filter. Holy cow. Okay, hey, I mean, shh. Don't say anything. You're not at liberty to bring up anything with AJ. Okay? Now, Merrill can't come on because of the cleat story. They got mad about that shit. What would that be? Showing the fans that Merrill wanted to share with the fan base? A cool story about the starting quarterback? And, sharing it with you? Wow. So is it more about me or you? Or me? So it's about me then. Oh, I see. So the Eagles complained about it. WIP is the whipping boy, which they are, because they walk. You talk about knee pads. WIP walks around and lives in knee pads. And by the way, I posted Merrill's tweet, text message to me. Okay? Can you imagine that? Yeah, I mean, I told Merrill I was too. I told him. And he, look, no crying. You know what Xander said to me? And Xander's dead right. And I'll say it to you as well. I'm actually shocked that they allowed it to go on as long as they did. So there's no crying about it. Here, let me read it to you one more time here. Dan, I've been told by Sports Talk Radio WIP that they have an exclusivity. And there's a clause in my contract that prohibits me from doing podcasts that aren't the property of Odyssey. Funny, I've seen Merrill on Seth Joyner's private show. That's got nothing to do with Odyssey. I've seen him on other podcasts. I saw him on Chris Long's. That has anything to do with Odyssey. I've always enjoyed going on with you. But they've been great to me, and I have to abide by their policy. As I said in the first hour, I'll say it again. We love Merrill Reese. There's no shade on Merrill. None. Okay? Yeah. Hey, M. Reyes. No shade on Merrill. Xander, Joe Kraus, and I. Joe Kraus posted something really nice. And he really did. It was really cool. Joe posted this, and he thanked Merrill for coming on. Big thanks to Merrill. Big Sill's another indication of your great success in the market. You now own the market. And get this, little old us. They stopped Merrill, who's been coming on the program for 4 years. They never had a problem until he shared something with you. I want to share, get this, here's my only bitch. Okay? He shared something with Eagle fans that was so cool, it had me like a kid. He showed the cleats that Jalen had given him. And because the Eagles and WIP couldn't get that moment because they don't have very talented people there that would ask questions like that, or that Merrill would want to share them with, Because Xander's right. They wouldn't give him the avenue. He shared it with you. Okay? He shared it with you. They don't like the fact that we shared it with you. Or me. No. JAKIB is me. So, okay? Yeah, so us, I should say. Yeah, correct. And so they've banned him from coming on. I've actually had a text from Hugh Douglas. Hugh Douglas goes, Dan, I would love to come on and talk to your folks and all your Eagle fans. And he goes, they won't let me. Oh, it's funny. I'm shocked what's his name put me on? Marcus Hayes. I'm shocked he put me on. Marcus told me too. Hey, you don't want to bring up you don't want to bring up his show on JAKIB because that means if you put him on, we have to bring that up. We don't want to. What are you afraid of? Afraid of little old JAKIB? Okay. I didn't know we really had you guys sitting on pins and needles like that. I mean, to Xander's point, that's not, look, whether Merrill comes on or not is irrelevant. That was like the Buccaneers trying to stop me back in the day. So the Bucs started and stopped putting on the coach and players. You know what I said? Fuck you. I don't care. I don't need you. And I didn't. I had 10 shares anyway. I had 10 shares. I didn't need them. And that aggravated the Bucs. That aggravated them. It's funny. The NFL and Roger Goodell says that they're not going to be involved. Okay? In broadcasting, but they are. Here's a prime example of it. They're knee deep in broadcasting. They're trying to control the content that's on this show and on this network. Again, I hate 90% of the shit you say, but I support the right for you to say it. We're not fucking leaving. Thank you, Twiz. Twiz, that's fucking great. I like people that come on and have debates back and forth. I subscribe to that. What do you think I want? You really think I want people that agree with me all day? I want people that have an open mind about things. And M. Reyes, I would be too if I had George Soros own my company. You know why you're scared? It's because they have so many guardrails on the host that are trying to do radio. You can't do a radio show there. You cannot do a radio show any longer. And shows like this, why do you think Pat McAfee is a gargantuan dude right now in broadcasting, and so is Portnoy? Do you know why those guys are so enormous? They can't control them. Those guys you have no say in their future. Companies hate that. Dude, let me last thing we'll say about this. Let me put it to you this way. It's not that they hate that Merrill did that. They hate you for being here, listening to this. Because deep down in their hearts, they hate things like this. Okay? They've got to kiss their boss's ass, their boss's ass, their boss's ass, their boss's ass. Okay? They'll tell you to your face they love you, but deep down they hate you. And they hate you being here. Okay? They hate you doing that. They just hate it. They're trying to make money? Okay. Well, after 4 years, what happened, Yale? Help me out there. You mean after 4 years of their numbers going down digitally and ours going up? You mean they're trying to make money? Is that what you're saying? I don't blame them. I wouldn't watch that shit. I implore you, watch any show that they put on digitally and then come back here and I implore you to go watch that and then come back here. Oh, I'm not crying, dude. Nobody here, Jacob's crying. It's unfortunate. Nobody's crying. No, not at all. I don't really need them. I love them and I respect them. Respect that you fill us in on this, Sills. Chris, yeah, well, and to Gail's point, it's business. Okay. Just have to find it funny after 4 years of continual numbers going down for WIP when it comes digitally, and they're not growing. By the way, they're a monster station. Their ratings are great radio-wise. Why? Not because of the content. It's because of you. I've learned one thing about the Philly market. You could put any asshole in there behind the mics, and you're going to get 10 shares. You are. It's not because they're good. It's because the Eagles are there, the Phillies are there, and you guys all go there. Why do you think they spend so much money paying the Eagles to put their product on their network? Imaging, and it's the home of the Eagles. That's why they do it. They spend some of the biggest money to air the Philadelphia Eagles. They pay for those ratings. It's okay. I know a lot of companies across the country that do that. They pay for ratings by paying for the Eagles. It's how they sell it. It's how they make money. Don't begrudge them. Absolutely not. And so then what you do is, when you see a small company that's making waves, you do everything in your power to squash that, because you're taking away any piece of the pie right now is important, especially in broadcasting. Remember, okay, digital's taken a lot of the pie when it comes to advertising. You can have all the numbers you want in radio. If you can't monetize it, it's like screaming in a forest that no one hears. I mean, you can have numbers. You can't monetize it. What's the point? I always have a guy go like this. I did 150,000 views on this one thing. How much money you make off it? Nothing. Well, then it's useless. It's totally useless. I had 150,000 views on Twitter and this and that. Xander's the one educating me on that. Okay, he's the one educating me. I go, oh, we got 250,000 views on. We got 800. How many people watched that rock video of ours? What was it? 1 million? Right? How much money you make on it? I don't know. Probably nothing. All right. So, hey, God bless Merrill Reese. We're pulling for him. Have a great year broadcasting the Philadelphia Eagles. And we appreciate him coming aboard here on this program. And we really do appreciate him and all of his time that he would always find for us, and texting and telling us how he really enjoyed it. One of his favorite things he said to do was he came on the program all the time. And so I thank him. This is really cool, man. Real zeal. Thank you. I can't thank you enough, bro. I loved your interviews with Merrill. You were always professional and treated him with respect. Absolutely, and we'll always do that. You got him to talk about things I never knew. It's a loss for the Eagle fans to no longer see that side of the Philly legend. Yeah. That's right. WIP, you think those guys care about Merrill Reese and his legendary... You know what I don't like how they treat him is this. Like what you just said, Real Zeal. Here's a guy that you guys grew up with. Generations of Philadelphians and fans who listened to him, and all the years of meeting all the people throughout the generations. You grew up with him. Your kids grew up with him. Your grandkids grew up with him. Stories he has about growing up and generationally sharing with you. And then when a player like Hurts shares something, that's what I look for. I don't look for, what do you think of the Eagles? What's your favorite broadcast? What's your favorite time? Who's your, what were some of the stories? You know what happened? His wife came and showed you the ring. We made it a family thing for you. I mean, and they didn't like it. You figure it out. Is it about me? Or the fact that they couldn't share something with you that Merrill shared something special? It was a personal gift that he gave to Merrill Reese. And again, it's just one of many things that they've done to me here. Called my bosses, wanted me fired, said I was an anti-Semite, which was ridiculous. Nobody even in their right mind. Howard Eskin's beside himself. Howard says he's never seen this before. He says he's never seen Bob Lane go after someone more than me like this. I'll get Howard on tomorrow if you want. He says he's never seen this in his 50 years being in the Philadelphia market. He says it's atrocious. Hey, Angelo's laughing. He's like, hey, man. And then as Xander said earlier, nobody's crying here. Absolutely not. We press on. Right? Takes a lot of balls to tell Merrill, the legend, voice of the Eagles, what he can do. That's a great comment. I didn't think of that. Telling Merrill Reese you can't do something because we don't like him. Phew. That's pretty crazy. I never thought of it that way. You have a guy, you have people who are telling Merrill Reese not to come on a podcast. It's like telling him not to call me on the phone. Man, that is really stupid. Those people are stupid. Sills, if Jalen was in Baltimore, does he beat the Bills in your eyes? Yes. Well, if the coaching's right, how you beat Kansas City, the Eagles showed you how to beat Kansas City. You know how you beat Kansas City? Run the damn thing. Run the damn ball. The Eagles know how to beat KC. I live in Michigan, Sills. I happen to think Merrill is a top 2 all-time announcer in sports, period. So you live in Michigan. Let me tell you a cool story about Ernie Harwell, who, when I first got into broadcasting, used to come on my program in Tampa, my morning show in Tampa, my years ago morning show. And Ernie Harwell used to come on the program, the legendary voice of the Detroit Tigers. And I asked him what it was like for him to communicate with all the people when he was the Tigers play-by-play guy. And he would say, you know what he would do? He'd go sit down in the at Old Tiger Stadium, and he'd sit down in the bleachers. People come over to him from Ann Arbor, from wherever, from East Lansing, and they would talk to him. And then during the broadcast, he'd be sitting there going, "Had 2 balls and 3 strikes to Norm Cash. Oh, there's my friend Bethany from East Lansing. She brought me some cookies today, and it was really great. We had a great time. We talked about her kids and how her kids are growing up being Tiger fans. 3-2 on Norm Cash." And I'm going, yeah, that's what kind of like Merrill does. Yeah. Merrill's great at what he does when he talks to the fan base. He's a great broadcaster. Jalen Hurts threw dimes all over the field on Spags' KC defense. Ooh, wow. Isn't that something? Threw dimes. Dimes hurts. Yeah. 361 attempts in dimes all year. He threw dimes. Nick Foles threw dimes all over Belichick, too. Dimes. Isn't it funny? Best performance in a Super Bowl was Nick Foles and not Jalen Hurts. Dimes. When you say best Super Bowl performance of all time by the Philadelphia Eagle quarterback is old Nicky Foles. Ain't Jalen Hurts. It's old Nicky Foles. That's right, baby. Old Nicky Foles with the all-time Super Bowl performance. Not Hurts. Nick Foles. Bang. Good old Nick. Sills, did Jerry warm his hands before he measured you? Not sure what that means, douchebag. Let's see here. Sills, the fact that they don't want Merrill on your show tells you they feared the growth of Jacob. Yeah, I get it. Yeah. Nick Foles beat out a lot of legends in that Super Bowl performance. Yes, he did. Old Nick. Who's the greatest Super Bowl performance of all time in Philadelphia Eagle history? Nick Foles. Ain't your boy. It's old Nicky Foles. Can you get Lisa Ann on the show? Who's that? She loves sports. Let me guess. Leon, knowing you, she's a porn star. Is she Lisa Ann? Sorry, man, I don't watch Pornhub. So I'm going to have to Google that. Yeah. I don't think Ringo was ever NFL ready or developed. And you, wait a minute. Wait a minute here, brother. This guy had 3 years on your roster. Okay? I mean, you had 3 years. What are you waiting for? 3 years. He was on your roster. I mean, right? Ooh. Ooh. I would love to see you do this show live in front of the link on game day and see how different your energy would be. Are you under the impression I fear things? You got the wrong dude there, 4x4. You must be some civ or something. You think I'm any different? I've been doing this shit for 40 years. Energy would be bigger. Energy would be bigger. As a matter of fact, not the pregame show. You mean a postgame show. Because the results are in. And you talk about the results. Dude, are you seriously? Who do you think I am here? Oh my God. No. Really? Yeah, okay, that's me. Oh my God. Pretty awesome. The Eagles' first Super Bowl is against the GOAT Tom Brady and the Patriots. The second Super Bowl is against debatably the upcoming GOAT, Mahomes and Chiefs. Yeah, I think that's pretty cool. Yeah, who's Lisa Ann? Is she a porn star? How would I know? Okay. Eagles, Philly special in their first Super Bowl win, and the dagger to Smitty in the second. The dagger. That's not what I said, though. Oh, Nicky Foles with the greatest performance in Philadelphia Eagles Super Bowl history. Philly, the legendary play and the legendary play of himself. Nobody outplayed old Nick. Right? Bro, I don't know how you keep Ringo on the team. For what? Oh, we have to. All right. You keep a dude that lost his job and a second team job. I mean, who's the better rapper? Master P or Leon, the masturbator? I'm going to take Leon the masturbator. That's where we'll go here. Nice job there, Leon. Wow. Hey, man. Listen, the chances of you meeting Joy now are not very high. So now you're not very good with trying to set big sales up. And now you drive a Kia and you want to meet Joy. Yeah, I'm thinking that's probably not going to work now. So I got another girl for you, dude. It's all good. She's a heck of a person. You know, she works at a bakery. Her name is Hubba. She's not bad. Trust me. Nice girl. Okay. I think you need a fat chick. Okay. I don't think you need a hot chick. I don't think you can handle a hot chick. I think you have to have a fat chick. Her name is Hubba. Oh, man. Sills, at the end of each show, you should put a short clip of Merrill showing you the cleats. Oh, my God. That's actually a great idea. This is Merrill Reese signing off for Big Sills. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Here's How. One of my favorite dudes, the How. This is the Ho. What's the Ho say? Sills got us going 2-15. The How. Okay. Yo, we basically the underdogs. That's what the Ho says. I don't remember saying 2-15, but whatever, the Ho. I love you, Leon. We're good, dude. You and the Ho. So he's not meeting Joy with a $2. Oh, my God. Hey, Joy, hold on. Let me text Joy. And I'll send it. And I'm going to send this. I'm sorry. I'm sending this. Hey, Leon, I'm going to send this here. Joy, we got a guy by the name of, what is Leon? What's Leon? What is it? Leon Banks? Leon Banks has a $1.50 super chat. He'd like to meet you. And he drives a Kia. And he gave me a chick's name by the name of Lisa Ann. I'm assuming she's a porn star. Now, I know you're in I know that you're in New York right now. I talked to Joy last night. Hold on. Leon. He's a very brokenhearted man, too, from what I understand. Very brokenhearted. His last woman took advantage of him. She told him to meet him at a restaurant. And she never showed. Sorry, Leon. Send. Yeah. Oh, boy. There's Leon sitting in South Philly. You think Abigail will show up? It's only been 2 hours. I'm waiting for Abigail. I don't think Abigail's showing up, dog. Yeah. Yeah. Hey, Leon, I don't think Abigail's showing up, dog. Yeah. I don't. I know, man. Joy? No. No, not the joy you're. No, Leon, the joy you're thinking versus joy. Okay, Joy, listen, we may have, Xander, we may have to block somebody because Joy's going to come on, I think, the second week of September for the Kansas City game. She said she'll do the Kansas City game and then the Bucks game she's going to do. And she'll come on. We may have to, I don't know, man. You may have to be in some sort of special situation. I don't know, man. I don't know what we're going to do about you because I'm a little concerned. I get the mills, though. You'd be surprised. How do you fit them in the Kia? What do you do? Drive through a McDonald's and get them Happy Meals with the Kia? Come on, man. Nothing wrong with Happy Meals, too. Get a little prize in it. Yeah, I can't buy it. I'll enjoy with Oh, God. What Odyssey, WIP, and the Eagles are doing to Merrill is disgusting. They should be ashamed of themselves. They have taken the low road for sure. Yeah, it's all good. We're not. No, listen, nobody here at JAKIB's crying. We're just disappointed for you. I'm not disappointed for me. Well, a little bit, because we love him. We really do. I really admire him. I go, but I'm disappointed for you because he told great stories, man. Because of you, I stopped listening to all those stations. I love the show, and I'm glad I never turned back. Keep up the great work. Michael, we appreciate you being here every single day. Thank you. We can't thank you enough, man. You kidding me? Right? Right? Hey, it's all good. All good, man. Dude, a week from tonight, you're dropping your banner. That's pretty cool. I won't lie. Dude, you imagine those players' excitement that they're going to have running through that tunnel? Damn. Players that were there a year ago, going through that tunnel with the excitement of seeing another championship banner fall. In a city like this, Jesus criminy. Dude, it's one thing to have a championship in New York or Los Angeles. Chicago, Pittsburgh, Buffalo, it matters. Tampa, it matters there too. But Green Bay matters there. But places like Philly, you know, that's really great. Okay? I mean, hey, the end of the day, Merrill didn't want to not come on the program. Okay? Right? I mean, but they missed out on a moment. They really were upset with the fact that he shared those cleats. It's over the cleats. It's over the cleats. Because he was on for 4 years. Nobody said anything to him. It was over the cleats. Okay? Merrill did it for the fans. Oh, absolutely. No. Ray. No. I don't want to have him injure his relationship with his job. That's not what we do here. No way. Like Joe Krause did, man. He sent him a thank you. Yeah, no way. Nobody's, hey, listen, when people leave here because of the environment of what people are doing or what the environment of broadcasting, nobody has ill will towards anyone. Absolutely not. Eagles organization like jealous ex-girlfriends that just can't get over the fact that Merrill likes someone else better. Well, they don't know how to use them. And what I mean by that is respect. How to have them on programs and ask them the right questions. How many times did every one of you, including Xander, go, you just ask the right questions? Right. Well, that's because they don't know how to talk to him. They don't know how to talk to Merrill Reese, or they'd have him on once a week. I'd have him on once a week if I could. Because I want to hear his stories. Dude, my job is to be a storyteller. Okay? Being a host is a storyteller. And you get people on, and that guy was telling you stories of his life. And being a broadcaster in Philly and telling you that. That's what Xander and I and Joe Krause are disappointed about, is that you don't get to hear those stories. Okay? Forever. There should be a statue of him one day out there. Absolutely. Kidding me? That's what we're disappointed in, because for me, I wanted to pull those stories out of him. Okay? I wanted those stories to be told to you. Can you imagine all the years and years of seeing you and your kids? And one moment that went viral and all the stories picked it up, it was in Sports Illustrated and everywhere. They didn't like it. Wasn't about anything we said. Okay? Yeah. JAKIB Sports, you would never hear Merrill refer to himself as a legend, which is why he's won. That's a fabulous take. That's right. Legends don't refer to themselves as legends. They're just legends. That's right. Right. He is. He never looked at him. He looks at himself as he just wants to show the game and have you hear the game the way he sees the game. And how if you were here with him, how you would be talking about the game. Absolutely. It's right. It's like a historian covering the game and telling you what he's seeing. Absolutely, man. Got to pay some bills here. All right, folks. The number one injury law firm in all of America is what? Let alone America, the world, is indeed Morgan & Morgan. Okay? Is indeed Morgan & Morgan. Folks, with over $30 billion recovered for families across the country. Make no mistake about it, okay? This is what Morgan & Morgan has been made to do, and that was this, to protect families. I told you the story before. Morgan & Morgan was founded because John's brother was paralyzed. He was permanently paralyzed by a company, and they didn't want to do the right thing. It became a crusade for him and his company to go and make sure that families were never taking advantage of that ever again. Whether you're hurt in an Uber, you're part of the fires in Los Angeles, the family here in Pennsylvania that was offered $650K ended up getting $30 million back in recovery. Doesn't matter. They'll take the case, they'll look at the case, and they'll make sure the case goes forward, and they'll make sure the case gets the best representation that you can. This will be the easiest decision that you'll ever make in your life. Go to forthepeople.com/Big Sills or pound law 529. That's forthepeople.com/Big Sills or pound law 529. And do me a favor, you tell them Big Sills sent you.
This is Eric. When he got injured in a car accident, he called Morgan & Morgan. He not only gets a lawyer, he gets trial lawyers like Sam and Jessica who are in it to win it. He gets his own investigators with briefcases, leather ones. And if you ever have questions, our customer service folks keep things rolling. Injured? We're your army. Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm.
The following is a presentation of JAKIB Sports.
If you're a small business owner or you work for a company that loves the birds, you need to react fast before we've used up our entire ticket allocation. And here's why. In celebration of JAKIB Media's new partnership with Savvy Seats, JAKIB Media will give you a pair of VIP tickets for any game on the 2025 schedule, home or away. And we'll give your company or your boss a 20-week media sponsorship package across the #1 digital network for Eagles coverage, JAKIB Sports. And that includes all of our game day coverage. Cost for your business or company? About $50 a week. Let's recap everything. 20-week sponsorship package on JAKIB Sports, including commercial spots, live reads, and liners. Inclusion in all of our game day coverage, including the soon-to-be-announced Green Zone, and a pair of tickets to the home opener or any game on the 2025 regular season schedule. Remember, that's home or away. If you're in Kansas City and you want to go to the game against the Chiefs, no problem. If you live in Florida and you want to go to the game in Tampa Bay at the end of September, no problem. Text Krause at 267-261-3428. That's 261-3428. And remember, do it quickly before this incredible gift is gone. JAKIB Sports and Savvy Seats put you right in the action with VIP seating, as we are proud to announce our partnership for the 2025 season with Savvy Seats. Text Krause right now at 267-261-3428. That's 267-261-3428. And pick your game today. If you own a company and you're not producing a podcast, you're missing out. The public consumes messaging when they're ready. Join the professional podcast network of companies and let JAKIB Media Partners put you in the podcast arena. Come to our professional studio, or we'll come to your place of business and professionally produce your company podcast. Call JAKIB Media right now at 267-261-3428. 267-261-3428.
EAGLES. Eagles.
I mean, if you're Anthony Richardson and his agent, the ex-quarterback, soon to be with the Colts, and your agent's coming out doing this, I think our time here in Indianapolis, how many years you been there? 2? Our time in Indianapolis is just about up. And I'm like, what gave that away? Daniel Jones beating you out? I mean, right? Holy cow. You're under like the impression you're good. It's one thing. Then you could sit there and go like this. Hey, man. So the general manager and the head coach went like this. Hey, guess what? We're starting Dimes Jones. We're starting Dimes Jones. Yeah, great. Okay. They took you in the top 5. You were a top 5 NFL draft pick. And now they've got a dude that got whacked in New York as a starting quarterback. Tremendous. Guys, it is absolutely, and gals, it is absolutely awesome. All of you being here, thank you very much. Okay? Absolutely. Khalid, thank you very much. Love you, man, for doing that in the super chat. You guys have been fantastic today. We want to thank you again. Enjoy your football tomorrow. Be like a pregame show tomorrow, right? When we do like a little bit of Eagles and Jets. That'll be pretty cool. So we'll have that game on Friday for you. We'll talk about it. Till then, Joe, Xander, thank you. 2 to 6 tomorrow, and we'll see you on the flip side.